Chapter 29:32. It can't be. The Xiaoyao ancestral master, Empyrean ancestral master, and the other human ancestral masters were stupefied. They didn't expect that the human demigod who appeared out of nowhere was Xiaoping. It was unbelievable. No matter how hard they tried, they didn't expect such a thing to happen. According to their understanding, no matter how fast Xiaoping's progress was, he should only be an ancient saint. How could he have ascended to the demigod realm? The ordinary human saints were dumbfounded as well. They recognized Xiaoping, the most monstrous genius of the human race. But wasn't this kid just an immortal saint who had just ascended to the saint realm? How could he suddenly become a demigod and the 10th demigod of the human race? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they would have thought that they were hallucinating. What's going on? What the hell is going on? Why was Cecily killed with a single punch? How did that happen? Who is this human demigod? How come we've never seen him before? Are you kidding me? Even a human demigod can't kill Cecily with one punch. The demigod demons went crazy. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and didn't know what was going on. It must be noted that Cecily was a demon at the peak demigod realm, a top expert second only to the demon lord. He was a horrifying demon like the Grand Elder and was almost invincible. Even if a demigod expert wanted to kill Cecily, he would need more than a dozen demigods to kill him, and it was only a possibility. Cecily would flee when he saw the situation was bad. If he fled with all his might, the dozen demigods wouldn't be able to kill him, and he might even escape easily. What was going on? The famous demigod White Tiger Demon was killed by a human demigod who appeared out of nowhere with one punch. They were shocked and furious, not knowing what to do. However, before the demigod demons could say or do anything, Xiaoping attacked again. His figure flashed and appeared in front of a group of demigod demons. There were a total of 30 to 40 demigod demons on the other side, but he brazenly attacked and blasted a punch at them. Thief, you are courting death. This group of demigods and demons who had planned to surround and attack the human were both shocked and enraged. They felt that this human demigod was simply too arrogant. Against so many demigods, he actually dared to attack. This was simply courting death. It was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. He was overestimating his own strength. All of them were enraged and instantly counterattacked. Boom! But it was useless. Xiaoping punched out with boundless power, shattering the vacuum and shattering the laws. In an instant, the counterattack of these demigods and demons was shattered. Crash! In the next second, the group of demigod realm demons were dumbfounded. All of their eyes were wide open as they watched their bodies crumble at this moment. It was as if they were disintegrating and collapsing inch by inch. All of the great path laws on their bodies turned into powder, and their bodies turned into nothingness. One punch. It was just one punch. Dozens of demigod-level demons completely collapsed and died. Before they died, they revealed looks of disbelief, as if they could not believe that they had been killed with a single punch. But no matter what, at this moment, they instantly turned into ashes like fireworks, completely disappearing from this world. Oh my God, is this a joke? Seeing this scene, the human sages were speechless. Just now, they were faced with a crisis of certain death as they were besieged by dozens of demigods and demons. Even if they could survive such a fierce siege, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. No one knew how many human sages would perish. In fact, they were prepared. Even if they were to perish, they would teach these demons a lesson and at least drag a few of them down with them. But now, Xiaoping appeared out of nowhere and killed dozens of demigods and demons with just 2 punches, instantly saving the human sages from the crisis. Such power was simply domineering and invincible. So valiant. Dark North, when did your disciple become so powerful? The Xiaoyao ancestral master was dumbfounded and almost speechless. He remembered that Xiaoping was just a little kid who had lived for less than 100 million years. Although he was very talented, he had not fully grown up yet. That was why he didn't call Xiaoping back, even in such a war. Because he had to make a backup plan. Once the war was lost, At least the human clan would have a protector who could barely keep the human clan from perishing in this universe. But he never expected that this kid would be so ferocious and kill dozens of demigods and demons with one move. He was so powerful that it made people's hair stand on end. I don't know. The corner of Dark North Saint's mouth twitched. To be honest, many sages wanted to ask him what was going on, but he wanted to know what was going on more. Although he was Xia Ping's master, he had never really taught this disciple of his. At most, he would give him some pointers occasionally, which was nothing. However, this disciple of his was so ferocious and rose up at an unbelievable speed. Before he could figure out what was going on, Xia Ping was already on the same level as him. No, it wasn't as simple as being on the same level. Based on Xia Ping's current combat strength, Xia Ping had surpassed him. He was a little sad. It hadn't been long, but his disciple had surpassed him. At this moment, the sages of other races also saw this scene and were all extremely shocked. Too fierce, really too fierce. When did the human clan give birth to such a terrifying demigod? Why haven't I heard of him before? Is this the human clan's backup plan? They've really hidden it well. I didn't expect there to be such a terrifying demigod. He killed dozens of demigods of the same level with one punch. What kind of joke is this? What kind of martial arts realm has he reached? Could he have ascended to the realm of gods? How can the human clan be so terrifying and even give birth to a powerhouse of this level? Is there still justice in this world? All the sages of various races were dumbfounded. They were also shocked by Xia Ping's ferocious combat strength just now. That kind of fist technique was simply sensational and made them tremble in fear. It wasn't just the sages of various races who were shocked. Even the many elders of the divine beast clans who were hiding at the side were dumbfounded. They also looked at this scene in disbelief. Even the dragon god shrine master Samuel, who was still reading a magazine, stopped reading. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Xia Ping, who was standing in the void, with a solemn expression. Chapter 29:33. Damn it, damn human demigod. How dare you kill us demigod demons? Even now, they still want to resist. I think these humans want to die. They want to die. Kill him. Kill the human demigod. We must tear him to pieces. I knew these humans would definitely cause trouble. We can't be careless. Now, a scourge has indeed appeared. Attack. Kill this bastard. The abyssal demons roared in anger. They couldn't contain their anger. They already had the upper hand. Next, they would beat the sages while they were down. Like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves, they would kill all the sages in one fell swoop. But at this time, a puny human demigod actually dared to attack and kill dozens of demigod demons. This was simply a slap to their faces and a humiliation to their dignity. How could they tolerate such a thing? But before the abyssal demons could act, the group of bright sun demons seemed to sense something. They immediately moved. That's right, this aura. I've sensed this aura before in the abyss. Eat him. Eat him now. As long as we eat him, we can reach an unprecedented level. What demon master? What abyssal demon tree? None of them will be a match for us. Opportunity. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that has never been seen since ancient times. The bright sun demons sensed the aura of the golden crow of hell's bloodline on Xia Ping. All of them went crazy. They gave up on killing the sages of the other races and gathered around him. In their eyes, there was only Xia Ping. Because Xia Ping's bloodline was too attractive to them, they couldn't resist it. Whoosh, in an instant, the 49 demigod bright sun demons charged over. Terrifying abyssal demon fire burst from their bodies, forming a black sea of fire. Wherever the black sea of flames went, everything was burned to ashes. Moreover, this power didn't differentiate between friend and foe. Whether it was the abyssal demons or the sages of the other races, as long as they came into contact with the abyssal demon fire, they would be burned to ashes. Are they crazy? Are these bright sun demons crazy? Why are they attacking us? Originally, a group of abyssal demons wanted to surround and kill Xia Ping. However, they discovered that the group of glorious sun demons were attacking them in a frenzy. They weren't even letting them off. Don't bother about them. If they want to kill the human demigod, just let them do it. We'll just watch from the sidelines. An abyss demon said in a low voice. He was already familiar with the personalities of the glorious sun demons. They were simply too conceited and would not even pay attention to the orders of the demon master, let alone the other abyss demons. If they dared to stand in front of the bright sun devil, they would definitely be killed. This bunch of damned glorious sun devils. It's best if both sides are heavily injured. Many abyssal demons were gnashing their teeth. Their hatred for the bright sun demon had reached its peak. Although these guys were members of the abyss, they were too arrogant, claiming to be the top predator, completely looking down on the other demons. If they didn't need to borrow their strength, they would have already joined forces to kill this group of bright sun demons. Retreat, retreat. The sages of the other races had goosebumps all over their bodies. They didn't dare to stand in the way of these glorious sun demons and quickly retreated. They were afraid that they would be swallowed by the bright sun demon. Whoosh! In an instant, these bright sun demons attacked. Endless abyss demon fire seemed to have transformed into countless sabers and swords. They contained terrifying lethality and instantly enveloped Xia Ping, intending to dismember him. Dong! Seeing this group of bright sun demons, Xia Ping remained expressionless and extremely calm. He stood where he was and punched again. Whoosh! This punch was extremely terrifying, and the wind from the punch shook the heavens and earth. It was as though there was an endless void storm that howled and shook the heavens and earth. The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. The entire void of the universe was trembling. Vaguely, all the sages seemed to hear the wailing of ghosts and gods. It was as though the wind was howling. At this instant, all the flames that the bright sun demons had sent over were completely shattered by the wind from the punch. It was as though the flames had been extinguished by a strong gale. Impossible! Many abyss demons were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. They knew how terrifying the bright sun demons' flames were. Even they couldn't withstand it. But now, a single punch was enough to extinguish the abyssal demon flames. One could totally imagine how terrifying the strength of this human demigod was. Oh no! At this instant, the 49 bright sun demons' hair stood on end. They felt a fatal killing intent from Xia Ping. It was as though the shadow of an archaic mythical bird had appeared behind him. They felt that they were in danger of being hunted. It was as though they were no longer predators, but prey. It was as though they had been targeted. Whoosh! Immediately, these bright sun demons felt a fatal danger and wanted to retreat. But it was too late. Xia Ping took a step forward and struck out with his claw. Bloodline Mystique, Infernal Golden Crow Claw. This claw attack was not fancy at all. It directly smashed out, reaching out from the void, ignoring any spatial distance, any temporal restraints, and any obstructions. It contained boundless killing intent and locked onto the aura of the 49 bright sun demons, sealing off space-time in all directions. At this instant, the claw seemed to have grabbed the space of billions of kilometers. It was as though an archaic mythical bird had descended from the void, grabbing a great thousand world with its huge claw and crushing it. Rumble, at this moment, the bodies of the 49 bright sun demons were completely crushed. The densely packed abyssal laws and abyssal runes on their bodies were all crushed. Their bodies were almost unable to put up any resistance. With just a single claw, they were squashed to death in the air like chickens. Even their souls were crushed to pieces at this moment. Not even their bones were left, and they completely exploded. Generally speaking, demigod experts like the bright sun demons were very difficult to kill. Even if a group of demigods surrounded them, they could easily escape and break out of the encirclement. But now, they could not escape even if they wanted to. That was because the claw was too powerful. It instantly sealed off space-time in all directions and even locked onto their souls, leaving them with nowhere to run. Therefore, with just a single claw, the 49 demigod bright sun demons were all killed. It was as though they had been killed by an archaic mythical bird with a single claw. They were completely reduced to ashes. Good stuff. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. After the 49 demigod bright sun demons died, The origin energy that their bodies dispersed was extremely rich. It was equivalent to the energy of 49 superstars. This was a great supplement for him. He did not know how many infernal golden crow cells it could awaken. Chapter 29:34. Whoosh! Xiaoping opened his mouth, and the origin energy of the 49 demigod solar demons surged into his body like a tide, into his limbs, bones, and even into every cell. This was simply an unparalleled supplement. He could feel the endless golden crow of hell cells awakening in his body. His bloodline power was increasing rapidly, and the vast origin energy was surging. After devouring the 49 demigod bright sun devils, Xiaoping's bloodline power had increased by a large margin. 100 billion, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion. In the end, he had awakened 15 trillion hell golden crow cells in his body. He had already awakened 80 trillion golden crow of hell cells, and now he had awakened another 15 trillion. In other words, he had awakened 95 trillion golden crow of hell cells. He still had 5 trillion golden crow of hell cells left, and he could completely awaken the golden crow of hell bloodline. At this moment, Xiaoping felt unprecedentedly powerful. The golden crow of hell flames surged in his body, and even his breathing seemed to be filled with terrifying flames that could burn the world. But when the abyssal demons saw this, they were horrified. Impossible! This is impossible. A demigod demon was in disbelief. 49 demigod luminous demons. They're strong enough to sweep everything in their path, but they were killed by a demigod human with just one claw. What kind of joke is this? To be honest, even if there were hundreds of demigods and demons, they might not be able to fight against 49 demigods. The abyssal demon fire that erupted from their bodies could burn everything. No demigod would be able to fight against it. That was why the solar demons were known as the ultimate weapons of the abyss. But now, such powerful solar demons had been killed by a human demigod with one claw. He was so strong that it was a complete mess. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed such a ridiculous fact. Preposterous. This is too preposterous. He killed 49 demigod solar demons with a single claw. Just what did this human demigod do? Just what did he do? Impossible. Illusion. This must be an illusion. How can something so ridiculous happen in the world? Where did this human demigod come from? Why does he possess such terrifying power? Many abyssal demons were shocked. Looking at Xiaoping's appearance, they couldn't help but reveal expressions of extreme fear. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying human demigod. This was simply unstoppable power and battle prowess. If they were to fight against this human demigod, they would probably be killed in an instant. Even demigods were like ants to him and could be easily killed. Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. Is this the ultimate weapon of the human race? It's actually so terrifying. How did such a terrifying demigod appear in the human race? Why haven't I heard of him before? This is way too scary. The foundation of the human race is way too scary. How long has it been since they started developing? To think that there would be someone who could grow to this extent. Killing demigods is as easy as killing chickens. Why have we never seen this human demigod before? Could it be that he's a demigod that the human race has secretly nurtured? The sages of all the races in the universe were shocked. They had never seen such a terrifying human demigod before. They saw those abyss demigods being killed like chickens. At this moment, their hair stood on end as they felt the same way. If they were in his shoes, they would probably be easily killed without any resistance. I remember now. I think I've seen this kid somewhere before. He's Xiaoping, the human Xiaoping. A beast sage roared as he recalled Xiaoping's identity. Xiaoping? That most demonic genius of the human race? Hearing this, many sages recalled Xiaoping's identity as the most demonic genius of the human race. He had long entered the eyes of many sages and was seen as a threat to the other races. Some sages even wanted to find a chance to kill this human demigod to prevent the human race from giving birth to the 10th invincible sage. But now, they were extremely shocked. This mysterious human demigod was actually Xiaoping. Impossible. Didn't Xiaoping just become an undying sage not long ago? How did he suddenly become a demigod? What kind of joke is this? A sage was in disbelief. He clearly remembered that Xiaoping had only become an undying sage not long ago, less than 100 years. To think that he had become a demigod in such a short time. This was not a joke. I'm not joking. This guy is indeed a human demigod, but his cultivation speed is way too fast. No. The time aura on his body is chaotic. It seems like he has been through the passage of time. I'm sure that he didn't just cultivate for 100 years. He might have gone to some places where time flowed quickly and lived for billions of years. Even so, to become a demigod in billions of years is unbelievably fast. Normal sages can only reach near ancient sage from undying. I can only say that this human Xiaoping might have received the inheritance of the gods and had many miraculous encounters. That's why he could improve so quickly. Many sages discussed and were shocked. If Xiaoping was still weak, such a fast cultivation speed would definitely attract the attention of countless sages. They might even ambush him and find out the secret of Xiaoping's rapid growth. All sorts of schemes and plots would come. But now that Xiaoping's strength was terrifying, he could kill a group of demigods with one punch. Whoever dared to find out the secret of his fast cultivation speed would be seeking death. This was the threat of strength. As long as one was strong enough, no matter how heaven-defying one was, no one would dare to have any evil thoughts. Otherwise, they would be killed with one punch. And Xiaoping had already grown to such a level that he was not afraid of the other sages. So what if he was completely exposed? He was not afraid of anything. At this moment, the human sages were in an uproar. Xiaoping. This mysterious human demigod is Xiaoping. He's too strong. Just how strong is Xiaoping to be able to kill 49 glorious sun demons so easily? This kind of strength has probably surpassed the patriarchs of the 9 human races. I've never seen such a powerful demigod. He's too powerful. How did Dark North Sage raise such a monster disciple? This is unbelievable. Many of the human sages were excited. With such a demigod guarding the human race, the position of the human race would not be shaken. They would definitely stand at the peak of the universe, and no one would be able to do anything to them. Dark North Sage's mouth twitched. Faced with the questions from the other sages, he was speechless. Who knew how his disciple could cultivate so quickly and surpass his master in the blink of an eye. Chapter 29:35. The many divine beast elders hidden in the void were also silent, and their expressions were extremely grave. Very strong. This human demigod is very simple. Even in the previous universe epic, the era of gods, this human demigod could stand at the peak. The Phoenix Clan elder said in a low voice, "If I'm not wrong, he has comprehended at least 100 great Tao laws. Otherwise, his strength wouldn't be so terrifying." The Black Tortoise Clan elder said, "It can't be 100 great Tao laws? Doesn't that mean he could become a superior god as soon as he ascends? That's a god just below the ruler level." The Cheelan Clan elder couldn't believe it. That's not strange. Every universe epic will give birth to a superior god or even a ruler-level god. This human demigod has such potential. The Phoenix Clan elder said. In other words, this kid can not only become a superior god, but also a ruler-level god. The Cheelan Clan elder sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew how terrifying a ruler-level god was. The god of their race was a ruler and had unparalleled divine power. However, a race could only give birth to one ruler. The others were at most superior gods. But that's just the potential. He might not succeed. After all, a demigod with potential can also fall. It depends on whether he can survive the demon lord's attack. The Phoenix Clan elder said. The other divine beast elders' faces were solemn. They didn't know what to say. At this moment, they truly valued this human demigod. After all, once he ascended to the ruler level, he would be on equal footing with the divine beast clan. No, it wasn't as simple as being on equal footing. Because they were creatures from the previous universe epic, They would be suppressed by the universe's origin source. Their strength might even be weaker. Samuel didn't say anything. He continued to watch the battle quietly. Kill. At this moment, the many abyssal demons emitted a terrifying, murderous aura. They gave up on chasing the other sages and chased after Xiaoping. They had to kill this human demigod to avenge the deaths of the other demigods and demons. Whoosh! Many demigods and demons attacked, forming a terrifying torrent of laws. It was as if many abyssal demon stars were falling, shattering the universe's vacuum. Burn! Xiaoping looked indifferently at the group of abyssal demons that were charging towards him. In an instant, he activated the boundless golden crow hell flames on his body. The extremely dense golden crow hell flames erupted. Immediately, he was like an eternally burning sun, incinerating everything in its path. Crash! In an instant, the bodies of these attacking abyssal demons were instantly ignited. The terrifying infernal golden crow flames spread out, and wherever they passed, they simply melted everything. Any substance, any fiendish demon, was turned into nothingness by this mighty flame. All the abyssal devil chi was completely purified by the power of this flame. The abyssal demons, even those that had reached the demigod realm, could not resist the burning of the golden crow inferno. Their bodies were ignited from the inside out. In just a breath of time, these abyss demons seemed to have turned into torches. They let out miserable screams as though they were being roasted. In an instant, more than half of the abyssal demons were burned to ashes. Go to hell, humans! Dozens of demigod demons roared. They endured the pain of being burned by the flames and attacked in a frenzy. Even if they had to pay the price of their lives, they had to kill this human demigod. Xiaoping did not even look at them. He punched out in the void. It was a straightforward punch without any fancy moves. It was as though the entire universe was moving with this punch. Dong! Suddenly, the bodies of dozens of demigod demons exploded and turned into dust. They could not even get close to Xiaoping. It was as though they were blown away by the chaotic astral wind and turned into ashes in an instant. Impossible. This is impossible. What kind of terrifying existence is this guy? Why can't we even take a punch from him? What kind of joke is this? The demigod demons let out miserable screams. They were in extreme despair. They felt as though they were being crushed to death like chickens. They had no strength to fight back at all. However, no matter how unwilling they were, there was nothing they could do. They were directly killed by Xiaoping with one punch. They were completely crushed. Too strong. The saints of all races had goosebumps. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying demigod. The demons from the abyss were killed as though they were chickens. One demigod after another was easily crushed. This sent chills down their spines. If this human demigod were to turn around and attack them, they would probably all die under this human demigod's fist. However, this was just the beginning. Xiaoping took a step forward and punched out 5 times in the void towards the army of demons from the abyss. Space-time rotated and the great path laws shook. At this moment, the sky shook and the earth trembled. The stars shone brightly. Dong, dong, dong. The power of these 5 punches solidified and shot out from 5 different directions. It was like the punch of a god. It encompassed all directions and contained the power of laws, shaking space-time. Suddenly, hundreds of demigod demons were unable to fight back. They did not even know what was happening. They were hit by Xiaoping's punch just like that. Rumble, in the next second, the bodies of these demigods and demons were instantly smashed. Their souls were blown away by this terrifying wind, and all their spirits were destroyed at this moment. Not even a speck was left. Monster! This human demigod is a monster. Quick, retreat. We're no match for this monster. Run, hurry up and run. Many of the demons from the abyss broke down. They were scared out of their wits by Xiaoping's ferocious combat power. They ran, wishing their parents had given them 2 more legs. All of them ran with all their might. Human, you are courting death. At this moment, the demon lord finally made his move. He could not hold it in any longer. To be honest, he did not expect this human demigod to be so terrifying. He wanted to see how strong this human demigod was. However, his subordinates were all killed in a few breaths. If this continued, all the demigod demons might be killed by this kid. When that happened, he would be left alone. Therefore, he could not tolerate this. He stepped forward and emitted a monstrous, demonic aura. He has made his move. The demon lord has finally made his move. This human demigod is dead. The demon lord has made his move. This human is dead for sure. Many of the demons from the abyss were overjoyed. They were scared by this human. However, with the demon lord making his move, this kid was dead for sure. There was no way he could survive. Chapter 29:36. Dying. The demon lord attacked. A black spear had appeared in his hand. It was a treasure from the deep abyss, the god-slaying spear. It contained terrifying power and was comparable to a god artifact. He didn't use this god artifact when he attacked before, but now that he was fighting Xiaoping, he had no choice but to use it, because he could feel that this human demigod's power was terrifying. It was definitely extraordinary. If he didn't use his full strength, he would probably be killed. Boom! In an instant, the demon lord attacked with his spear, forming an extremely terrifying void vortex. It contained a god-slaying black light that seemed to be able to tear apart the dark true void. Wherever the black spear went, all the laws of heaven and earth were turned to dust. All the demigods could feel how terrifying the demon lord's attack was. This attack could definitely kill a demigod. It seemed to contain endless god might. So strong. Many of the beast elders were shocked. They could feel how terrifying the demon lord's attack was. It had already reached the level of a lower god, which was beyond the imagination of a demigod. Even if they were in the same position, they wouldn't be a match for the demon lord. They would probably be killed by the demon lord in an instant. Retreat. Retreat. The saints of the various races all had goosebumps. They were scared out of their wits. Even though they weren't facing the demon lord directly, just the aftermath of the attack was enough to kill them. They kept retreating to avoid the demon lord's power. At this moment, Xiaoping also attacked. Even though the demon lord had taken out the god-slaying spear, he didn't move. He still punched out, no different from before. But the power of this punch was beyond the imagination of all the demigods. At the same time, it was also Xiaoping's strongest attack. The power of his 9 clones merged together, and a terrifying power exploded at this moment. It was earth-shattering. It was like a punch from a real god. Whoosh! When Xiaoping punched out, the color of the universe changed. The terrifying fist will permeated endless space and dimensions, creating a chaos vortex. The chaos vortex collapsed, forming a black hole. All light, matter, and souls were swallowed by the black hole. No power could escape from the black hole. This was the purest destructive power. The punch broke through the void. Impossible. The demon lord could not believe it. He took the punch head on, and the god-slaying power that was charging at him was instantly turned into dust, turning into nothingness. That vast, boundless power came crashing down and instantly sent his body flying. The arm that held the god-slaying spear turned into a bloody mist at that moment. No, it wasn't just this arm. Its entire body couldn't withstand such a terrifying force. Its entire body seemed to have been swept by a chaotic gale and instantly turned into a cloud of blood mist. Damn it! I'm the sovereign of the abyss, the lord of all fiends, the future sovereign god. How could I be defeated by a single punch? How could he die here? This is impossible. The demon lord was on the verge of breaking down. He had never thought that such a thing would happen. He was supposed to be unrivaled, an invincible existence that could suppress all enemies in the world. But now, with just a single punch, he was completely defeated. Even his body was reduced to ashes, leaving only his soul behind. Damn it, you can't kill me. I'm the demon lord, an immortal and indestructible demon. It's impossible to be killed. With a boom, after the demon lord's body exploded into pieces, his soul instantly fled, attempting to open a space-time tunnel and teleport back to the abyssal demonic tree. Whoosh! A terrifying spiritual wave erupted from its soul and swept in all directions, causing dense ripples in the void to appear. All the sages' souls were shaken. and their minds were blank for a second. At the same time, the abyssal demonic tree in the distance seemed to move. Countless roots extended over, attempting to absorb the demon lord's soul completely back into its body. But it was of no use. Xiaoping's fist technique was terrifying beyond compare. His fist broke through the void, shattered the laws of the universe, seized the creation of heaven and earth, and contained the supreme concept of life, death, reincarnation, and destruction, suppressing all demon gods. Although it was just a simple punch, it was stacked with the power of the 9 great clones, producing a terrifying destructive power. It caused the void of billions of light years to shake, producing extremely terrifying destructive ripples that shook like waves. In an instant, the aftershock of the punch blasted on the demon lord's soul. Dong! In the next second, the demon lord's soul turned into ashes, completely turning into nothingness, and disappeared from this universe just like that. Demon Lord! Seeing this scene, many of the abyssal demons were dumbfounded. They could not help but scream, not daring to believe their eyes. This was the Lord of the Abyss, the leader of all the demons. He had the combat power of a god, unparalleled bravery, and no one could defeat him. But now, he was killed by a human demigod with one punch, dying tragically in front of everyone. If this was a joke, then this joke was completely over the top. No demon could accept such a ridiculous thing. What kind of joke is this? This is too much. He killed the demon lord with one punch. What the hell happened? The sages of the various races were also dumbfounded. To be honest, they knew the demon lord's strength best. He had surpassed the demigod realm and reached the god realm. Every move of his contained terrifying combat power, shattering the vacuum. Just now, they had used all their strength and even used divine weapons, but they could not do anything to the demon lord. Instead, they were destroyed by the demon lord with just a few punches. There were countless casualties, and the losses were extremely heavy. The demon lord's ferocious power was evident. But to think that they would witness that demigod of the human race striking out personally, to think that he would be able to kill the demonic lord with a single punch as though he was squashing an ant. Although they were not abyssal demons, they were completely dumbfounded. No words could describe what they were feeling at this moment. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Dark North, when did your disciple become so ferocious? He killed the demon lord with one punch? The Xiaoyao ancestral patriarch and the others didn't know what to say. They knew Xiaoping's strength was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end, but he couldn't be this strong. It was too much and beyond their imagination. Well, I'm not sure either. Dark North Saint was speechless. He was the one who wanted to ask why the most. When did his disciple's strength increase to this level? There were no signs at all. No matter how hard he tried, he could not imagine that Xiaoping could kill the demon lord with one punch. There was no need for a second punch at all. This kind of strength was beyond the imagination of a demigod. Endless waves rose in the depths of his heart. Chapter 29:37. In the distance, in the void. Impossible. After seeing Xiaoping kill the demon lord with one punch, the Phoenix clan elder jumped in fright. What did that human demigod do just now? How could the demon lord be so vulnerable and be killed with one punch? To be honest, as a divine beast elder, he had lived for countless years, but he had never seen such a thing. A demigod's strength was actually so strong. Trash. That demon lord is definitely trash. He was killed with a single punch. Just when the world is that. Just when the world is that. The Chilan race elder shouted out loudly. He couldn't accept this fact at all. Before, he was still bragging about the demon lord's strength, which was comparable to the strength of a lower god. He was unparalleled and invincible in the universe, and no enemy could resist the demonic might of the demon lord. But now, he was actually killed with one punch by this human demigod. The situation changed so quickly that it was beyond his imagination. I didn't expect the human demigod Xiaoping to be so strong. It's really incredible. Is this the child of destiny born in this universe era? It's really terrifying. The Black Tortoise clan elder couldn't help but sigh. Samuel, Is this your confidence in the human race? No wonder you thought that the saints of the various races might not lose. If there is such a monster who can kill the demon lord with one punch, it is indeed impossible for them to lose. The Pishio clan elder admired the dragon god, Shrine Palace Master. He was indeed the #1 expert of the dragon clan. He had lived from the last universe era until now. He was really powerful. No, I didn't know this human was so powerful. Samuel was speechless. To be honest, he was the most shocked by this matter. He didn't expect this human demigod Xia Ping to be able to kill the demon lord with one punch. It was too exaggerated. If that's the case, why are you so confident in the human race? The divine beast elder next to him asked curiously. That's because the human race has a strong foundation. Maybe you all know about the universe virtual network. Samuel said in a deep voice. Of course. All the divine beast elders nodded. This was the human race's biggest secret and their biggest reliance. It was a super device that could connect the entire universe without any delay. It was far beyond the imagination of the other peak races. Even the machinery race, which was known as the most technologically advanced race, was unable to do this. However, the seemingly weak humans had managed to do it. Do you know why humans can do this? Samuel said. Why? Many divine beast elders were extremely curious. They had secretly inquired about similar information before, but they didn't find anything because this was the ultimate secret of the human race, and no one could investigate it. It's very simple. It's because humans obtained a super divine artifact, the Heavenly Emperor's Jade Seal. Samuel's eyes glowed. This is an extremely powerful artifact. It is said to be a magic treasure from an immortal universe that perished countless years ago. Immortal universe? Many of the divine beast elders widened their eyes. This was the first time they had heard of such a secret. Yes, it's the immortal universe. It is said that this universe has given birth to countless immortals. Every immortal is as powerful as a god. Each of them possesses unimaginably powerful magic treasures. It is even said that this universe has lived for 9 lifetimes. Its prestige has shocked countless eras in the infinite universe. Samuel revealed an earth-shattering secret. A universe that has lived for 9 lifetimes. Many divine beast elders were shocked. One had to know that the universe they were in couldn't even live for 1 lifetime. They could only fall into reincarnation. One universe after another, the cycle of reincarnation, and many gods fell. However, there was actually another universe that could live for 9 lifetimes. How terrifying was this place? Unfortunately, the immortal cosmos seems to be at war with another cosmos of the same level, the infernal cosmos, which has also lived 9 lives. Samuel said, in the end, an earth-shattering war broke out between the 2 super universes. Many god sovereigns took action, causing heaven and earth to split and many universes to shatter. In the end, they actually perished together. The origins of both universes couldn't withstand this earth-shattering war of gods. As a result, their respective universes collapsed, and all the gods fell along with them. Why did these 2 universes war? Some divine beast elders asked curiously. I'm not sure. It is said that it was for a mysterious treasure. As for what it is exactly, no one knows. Samuel said, however, this isn't the main point. The main point is that the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal is a super godly weapon owned by the Supreme Heavenly Emperor who ruled the immortal universe. Back then, the immortal universe shattered, and countless treasures were lost in the void, floating in different universes. The Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal accidentally entered our universe, and now it is actually obtained by the human race. What ability does the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal have? Many divine beast elders were very curious. I'm still not sure. The universe virtual network is just a function that humans have explored. Humans haven't displayed more of their power. They have completely hidden it. Samuel's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. I originally thought that the Demon Master's invasion of the modern universe would force the human clan to take out their final trump card and use the ultimate artifact, the Celestial Emperor Jade Seal, but I didn't expect that it still couldn't force the human clan to use their full strength. He was very regretful. However, the more it was like this, the more it proved how terrifying the human race's foundation was. They didn't even need to use their ultimate godly weapon. Just a demigod alone was able to kill the demon lord, displaying invincible combat power. Even he was trembling with fear. I see. Many divine beast elders were enlightened. They finally understood why Samuel was so confident in the human race. It turned out that the human race still had a trump card that they hadn't used. After all, it was the legendary ultimate godly weapon, surpassing all treasures. Who could imagine what kind of power it had? Just the appearance of the universe virtual network was enough to prove how terrifying the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal was. If they really used the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal as their final trump card, they might be able to easily exterminate the Abyss demons. I didn't expect the human race to be so terrifying. Their foundation is too shocking. They're just creatures born in this universe era, but they're actually more powerful than us divine beast clans. I can only say that the human race is extremely lucky in this universe era. They're unparalleled. I'm afraid even Gaia can't compare to the human race. After this war, the human race will probably be the strongest race in the universe. All the other races combined won't be a match for the human race. Isn't that so? Just a human demigod alone can easily kill a group of demigods. He's invincible. Many divine beast elders exclaimed in admiration. Their vigilance towards the human race had risen to the extreme. Once the gods awaken in the future, the human race would definitely be their number one enemy. Chapter 29:38. Rumble, at that moment, after the demon lord was killed, the abyssal demonic tree seemed to go berserk. A terrifying abyssal what was born from its body and spread in all directions. Almost half of the universe was enveloped by the will of the abyssal demonic tree. Terrifying mental fluctuations swept in all directions. Almost all the saints could feel this terrifying abyssal will. It seemed to be the representative of the abyssal laws. It could corrode everything. It was many times more terrifying than the demon lord. Oh no, the abyssal demonic tree seems to be reviving. The saints' expressions were extremely unsightly. Damn, I almost forgot that the demon lord is just a puppet. The abyssal demonic tree's main body is the true abyssal lord. It's also our greatest opponent this time. Heavens, just how powerful is this abyssal demonic tree? Just the will it emits unconsciously can actually corrode our souls. We can't fight it. We can't fight it all. This is a life form that exceeds the norm. The expressions of the saints changed. They looked at the abyssal demonic tree in the distance, and their hair stood on end. Whoosh! At that moment, the abyssal demonic tree seemed to have awakened. An abyssal demonic eye appeared on its body, that I seemed to be able to devour, distort, and corrode everything. An uncontrollable abyssal power burst out of its body. In an instant, the abyssal aura within 1 billion light years expanded by dozens of times. It seemed to have turned into a boundless demonic domain. And you deserve to die. The abyssal demonic tree woke up, and that abyssal demonic I stared at Xiaoping. It contained a terrifying, murderous aura, as if it had locked onto Xiaoping's aura, making it impossible for him to escape. In an instant, it moved. Countless roots danced, and it seemed as if the entire universe was trembling. Endless abyssal source power poured in. It was as if it was the amalgamation of abyssal power, a monster born from the abyssal laws that could destroy everything. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, countless dark roots rushed over, covering 1 billion light years. They surrounded Xiaoping and tried to strangle him in this domain of darkness. Boom! But at that moment, the abyssal demonic tree's movements came to an abrupt halt. All the dark roots stopped moving, as if time and space had stopped. Xiaoping quietly stood in place and looked at the abyssal demonic tree. What's going on? What happened? All the sages were dumbfounded and confused. They did not know what had happened and why the demon tree of the abyss could not move at all. "Aunt, what did you do to me?" The abyssal demonic tree roared, and its whole body trembled as if it was in great pain. The endless abyssal aura rolled like the sea. All the sages could see that the abyssal demon tree was in great trouble. Let's begin. Xiaoping was not interested in chatting with the abyssal demonic tree at all. He communicated with the world tree in the depths of his consciousness because the time was ripe. He could completely devour the abyssal demonic tree's power and make it his own. Dong! In an instant, the void split open, and the figure of the world tree suddenly appeared in the universe. What? Many sages widened their eyes. They suddenly saw a tree that was comparable to the abyssal demon tree appear in the void. Such a tree was incomparably vast. From afar, it looked like a universe. Its countless roots were rooted in the void of the universe, and each root was like the chi of heaven and earth. It was also like a void wormhole that connected the universe. The moment it appeared, it seemed to control the entire universe. Countless roots had unknowingly spread to every corner of the universe. At the same time, its body was covered with endless emerald green leaves, and each leaf contained majestic world power. It was as if the depths of each leaf contained a boundless universe. It could be said that this tree was simply an amalgamation of the infinite boundless universe. In front of this tree, be it sages or gods, they all felt incomparably small. It was as if they would be completely suppressed by this majestic world power in an instant. Moreover, rays of bright emerald green light emitted from its body, as if it was condensed from the laws of heaven and earth. It covered an area of billions of light years, forming a world domain. At this moment, all living beings were dumbfounded. They seemed to have seen an incredibly great life, a miracle born from chaos. If the abyssal demon tree was the symbol of the will of the abyss, containing the negative forces of death, abyss, corrosion, curse, darkness, and so on, devouring all life. And the world tree was the symbol of the modern universe. It contained positive energy such as light, blessing, life, heaven, and so on. It seemed to be the amalgamation of all good things. But this was only on the surface. In fact, deep inside, it was a demonic tree that was even more terrifying than the abyssal demon tree. It devoured everything, devoured all matter, and took it as its own. It used the universe as its soil and the corpses of all things as its food. This was a divine tree that was a fusion of light and darkness. It was a powerful species born from chaos. Dong, dong, dong. Before the other sages could understand the world tree, at this moment, the endless roots of the world tree instantly pierced into the body of the abyssal demon tree, easily piercing through its body. The abyssal demon tree immediately let out a shrill scream. Intense pain spread throughout its body as it tried to resist. Boom! But at this moment, the world tree's backup plan was activated. The parasitic seed left in the abyssal demon tree was activated and instantly controlled the abyssal demon tree. At this moment, the body of the abyssal demon tree could not move at all. It was as if its body was completely controlled. It could only watch as the world tree devoured its origin energy. Whoosh! In just a few breaths' time, the world tree immediately integrated into the body of the abyssal demon tree. It seemed to have completely devoured the power of the abyssal demon tree and integrated it into its own body. At the same time, the roots of the world tree also completely replaced the roots of the abyssal demon tree. The endless abyssal demon energy was completely devoured by the roots of the world tree. All of it flowed into the body of the world tree, and the power of the world tree rapidly increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. Bang, bang, bang. In the next second, the roots of the world tree trembled slightly. All the nearby abyssal demons were swept away by the branches and pulled back into the abyss. At the same time, the abyssal demon energy that surged out of the abyss passageway was devoured by the world tree and disappeared completely. After the abyssal demon energy that was about to be transformed into an abyss was completely devoured by the world tree. It was as if nothing had happened. Chapter 29:39. Xiaoping sensed that the world tree had completely replaced the abyssal demon tree and returned to the deepest part of the abyss. Its countless roots were rooted in every corner of the abyss. A towering tree appeared in the abyss, almost piercing through the abyss. It appeared in front of the many abyssal demons without hesitation. The branches on its body held up pieces of abyss continents, and its leaves turned into plain worlds. The light on its body was like the sun, spreading endless light and bestowing life to all things. Endless abyss demon energy was absorbed into its body, as if it had turned into soil. Pieces of abyss continents also gathered together, under the effect of the World Tree's power. It seemed to form a supercontinent that had never existed since ancient times. The soil also changed, turning into the 9 heavens living soil that could continuously reproduce. The entire abyss world had undergone earth-shattering changes. It could be said that the World Tree had become the true lord of the abyss, controlling endless energy. Its cultivation had also risen to the level of demigod perfection. It was only one step away from ascending to the god realm. Its power had also reached a level that had never been seen since ancient times. It was vast and unparalleled, like a supreme god. However, that was not all. Its roots had also penetrated half of the modern universe, and at the same time, the roots were still spreading, covering everything. As long as it was given a certain amount of time, not only could it cover the entire abyss, but it could also cover the entire modern universe. Basically, it could cover every corner of the entire universe. When that time came, the World Tree would become one with the entire universe. Even becoming a sovereign god would be a piece of cake. Too powerful. Xiaoping could feel how powerful the World Tree was. When the World Tree merged with the entire universe, the World Tree would become the universe, and the universe would become the World Tree. At the same time, the nature of the entire universe would be greatly improved. Through his senses, the World Tree's roots even extended beyond the universe, seeping into the void of chaos and madly swallowing chaotic air currents. It should be known that chaotic energy was endless. It was a supreme energy, and even saints could not devour it. Even a wisp of chaotic air currents was enough to make a saint explode. If the universe wanted to improve, it also needed to slowly swallow chaotic air currents to increase the universe's origin energy. However, this speed and efficiency were too slow. If they relied on the instinctive evolution of the universe, who knew how many epochs it would take? However, if it was under the control of the World Tree, then the speed of the universe's advancement would be many times faster, and it could evolve to an extremely powerful realm in a short period of time. The creatures in the universe would also reap great benefits. It was like the revival of spirit chi, and countless experts would emerge. It could be said that the fusion of the World Tree with the universe was a huge benefit to the universe. The fusion of the two was equivalent to complementing each other. It was a win-win cooperation. Wait a minute. This feeling? Could it be the will of the origin of the universe? Xiaoping's eyes gleamed. He sensed that at this moment, his soul seemed to have completely fused with the deepest part of the universe's origin. He seemed to have entered the river of destiny. At this moment, he had obtained the recognition of the entire origin will of the universe. Clearly, his actions were equivalent to saving the modern universe, preventing it from being eroded by the power of the abyss. This was the merit of saving the world, and there was immeasurable merit. At the same time, the World Tree became the ruler of the abyss. With the two combined, he had obtained the recognition of the entire vast origin will of the universe. It was as if he had become the ruler of this universe at this moment, controlling all the laws of the universe. At this moment, Xiaoping felt that the energy of the entire universe's origin seemed to be mobilized by him at will. Every place in the universe seemed to have an extremely friendly emotion toward him. It was as if he was the son of destiny and had obtained the universe's favor. Countless planets, endless continents, and countless lost lives seemed to be expressing their gratitude to him at this moment. Waves of Tao rhythm came from all directions. He found that his soul had fused with the river of destiny. At this moment, he seemed to have seen the fate of all living beings, the endless karma of all living beings, the river of destiny, and the endless great Tao laws in the deepest part of the universe's origin. Xiaoping found that with the blessing of the universe's origin, the speed at which he comprehended many great Tao laws was unbelievably fast. It was as if he had turned on a cheat at this moment. His comprehension ability had been improved geometrically. Even without using the power of the feathered serpent god, he could easily perceive many great Tao laws. This was the benefit of being the son of destiny. At this moment, Xiaoping's eyes widened. He found that the endless energy of the universe's origin was gushing into his body. It was simply vast and boundless. Even with the space of his sea of consciousness, it was impossible for him to contain it. Moreover, the vast amount of energy of the universe's origin surged over, almost bursting his body. His skin seemed to be cracking at this moment, and traces of blood appeared. Vaguely, the magic power in his body and the power of the great Tao laws seemed to be gathering together and condensing into crystals. It could be said that if he wanted to, at this moment, Xiaoping could directly condense a godhead and advance to the high god realm, becoming the modern universe's first god. No, I can't advance. However, Xiaoping still forcibly stopped this comprehension and suppressed the power of advancement. This was because his ambition was greater. He didn't want to advance to the high god realm. He wanted to advance directly to the sovereign realm. Advancing directly from a demigod to a sovereign realm god was something that had never happened since time immemorial. It was also an unimaginable miracle. Since ancient times, no demigod had been able to do this. However, according to the current amount of origin energy he had obtained, it was clearly not enough for him to advance to the sovereign realm. After all, the modern universe was still in its infancy. Whether it was the time or the foundation for growth, it was far from enough. If I want to advance to the sovereign realm, I'm afraid I'll have to unify the infernal universe and devour a huge amount of origin energy to succeed. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. To be honest, although the infernal universe had been destroyed in the previous universe era and had fallen into reincarnation, it was still a super universe that had lived through 9 lifetimes. Its foundation was boundless. Even if it had been destroyed and had fallen into reincarnation and lost a lot of energy, the origin energy it contained was not something other universes could compare to. As the saying goes, even a rotten ship has 3 nails. Once he unified the infernal universe and obtained the recognition of the infernal universe's origin will, the origin energy he would obtain would definitely far exceed the energy that the modern universe could obtain. In this way, when the 2 energies superimposed, he would definitely advance directly to the sovereign realm, a realm that had never been seen since time immemorial. Chapter 2940. Did we win? Did we win just like that? Seeing the abyssal demon tree disappear, all the abyssal demons were completely defeated. The sages were dumbfounded. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Everything had happened too quickly. They had been at a disadvantage. Even with a few divine weapons, they couldn't do anything to the demon master. They were beaten back again and again. All the sages were prepared to die together with the abyssal demons. But now, this human demigod Xiaoping had suddenly appeared. He was invincible. With a few punches and kicks, he had defeated many demigod demons. Even the demon master had been killed by this human demigod with 1 punch. This series of events was simply too shocking. If they hadn't checked again and again, they would have thought they had fallen into some kind of illusion. The aura of the abyssal demon tree has completely disappeared. The void passageways connected to the abyss are all closed. Looks like we've won, an invincible sage said. Under his perception, all the abyssal demons had retreated back into the abyss. The power eroding the modern universe had also disappeared. Basically, it could be said that they had already won this war. No way. This is too simple. This is child's play. A sage couldn't believe it. Although they had indeed been in danger just now, with countless casualties, the change from death to victory was too fast. They couldn't believe it. You can't say that. We can only say that the human demigod's power is so terrifying that it's not something we can imagine. Yeah, If I'm not wrong, this human demigod's power has probably reached the realm of gods. That's why he could easily kill the demon master and the abyssal demon tree, killing a god with the body of a demigod. What kind of monster is this? How is this possible? Nothing is impossible. The truth is in front of us. We have to admit it. Indeed, he killed an expert like the demon master with one punch. This power has already risen to an unbelievable level. It's not an exaggeration to say that he's comparable to a god. The sages discussed. To be honest, it had taken a long time for them to reluctantly accept this absurd fact. They didn't know what to say. Why was it that when everyone else was a demigod, this human demigod was this terrifying? They simply could not figure it out, no matter how hard they thought about it. Now that the humans have such an invincible demigod, who else can keep them in check in the future? A demigod could not help but ask. Hearing these words, the sages of the surrounding top clans also fell silent. Balance? What a joke. Right now, they were no longer thinking about how to keep the human race in check. They were only thinking about how to survive under the power of the human race. After all, that human demigod could easily kill the demon lord and the abyssal demonic tree. In that case, he could also easily kill the demigods of the other peak clans. If that human demigod were to turn around and attack them instead, none of them would be able to escape. All of the sages had solemn looks on their faces. There was no hint of joy on their faces. After dealing with the abyss, they would have to deal with an even more powerful race, the human race. However, there was nothing they could do in this situation. Far away in the void, many divine beast elders were silent when they saw this scene, especially when they saw the abyssal demonic tree being killed and all the abyssal demons retreating back into the abyss. They were even more silent because such an outcome had given them a huge shock. It seems like the strength of the human race and the foundation of the human race are beyond our imagination. The Phoenix Elder could not help but sigh. Previously, he had thought that the human race and the other races were doomed and would not be able to survive from the abyssal demons. However, in the blink of an eye, this group of abyssal demons were beaten to a pulp. Even the demon lord and the abyssal demonic tree had died tragically. The battle situation had been reversed in an instant. The situation had changed so quickly that they felt overwhelmed. Xiaoping of the human race will definitely be the greatest enemy of the divine beast race in the future. We must be extremely vigilant. The eyes of the Qilin elder lit up. He had already raised his vigilance against Xiaoping to the extreme. After this battle ends, the abyss will no longer be able to invade the modern universe. The modern universe has won this battle, and there is no way to stop its rise. The Black Tortoise Elder said in a low voice. Not only that, I sense that the universe seems to be undergoing earth-shattering changes. It is evolving at an accelerated pace. Before long, the first god will be born in this universe era, and then we will usher in the age of gods. The Paisho Elder could not help but clench his fists. He seemed to have seen the grand occasion of the previous universe era. That was a flourishing age of tens of thousands of races and gods. Powerful gods were born one after another, and their might dominated the ages. And the age of gods would also be born from this. The human race is really too dangerous. We must think of a way to deal with him. We cannot let him be the only one. The Baifeng Elder said in a low voice. Many divine beast elders also had a huge vigilance against the human race. They believed that in the future war of gods, the human race would definitely occupy an extremely important position. That's easy for you to say. How can we deal with him? He can even kill a top expert like the Demon Lord with one punch. I reckon that even if we fight together, we won't be a match for this brat. Could it be that we use our heads to deal with him? The Baifeng Elder sneered. He felt that these fellows were unrealistic. It was easy for them to say such things. You are boosting the morale of others and diminishing our own. We are a super race that has lived through the reincarnation of the universe. How can we be compared to the races of this universe era? Even if we are suppressed by the origin of the universe, we are not afraid of that brat. That's right. We divine beasts do not lose to humans. As long as our ruler wakes up, mere humans are not worth mentioning. The problem is that we don't know how to wake up. If we can't wake up, I'm afraid our race will not be able to live through this reincarnation of the universe. We will fall. Shut up. Why are you making sarcastic remarks here? We must succeed, because we have no other choice. The many divine beast elders were filled with murderous intent. They were not to be outdone. Their eyes revealed an extremely determined look. Let's go. There's nothing to see here. The dragon god shrine master Samuel said lightly. He took a deep look at Xia Ping and the many human saints. His figure flashed, and he quickly left this place. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The other divine beast elders also did not hesitate. They knew that it was useless to stay where they were. One by one, they quickly retreated and disappeared in this void. They already knew the outcome of this matter. What was important was what would happen next. Chapter 2941. At this moment, in the angel race's headquarters, many angels were aware of the situation of the battle through various means, especially when they saw Xia Ping kill the demon lord with a single punch. All the angels were speechless and extremely silent. I didn't expect the human sage who was chased by us to grow so quickly. He actually ascended to the perfection stage of the demigod realm. He's just one step away from stepping into the god realm. Actually, this is something we should have expected. This human has obtained the god of war's inheritance. The speed of his improvement is definitely beyond everyone's imagination. It's not surprising that he has reached such a realm. But the problem is, what should the Lord's plan be? We should have been able to completely eradicate the human race with the help of the demons from the abyss. I didn't expect such a human demigod to suddenly appear. According to the Lord's orders, we must obtain the celestial Dharch Jade Seal that the human race has obtained. But according to the current situation, we have no way of doing it. We are no match for that human at all. Do we have no choice but to temporarily give up on this plan? Many angels discussed. Although they were also shocked by the strength that Xia Ping had displayed, it had not reached the level of fear. Instead, they were still full of confidence. Rumble, at this moment, a beam of holy light seemed to pierce through the universe and reach this space-time. Suddenly, a terrifying angel formed from holy light appeared in the void, emitting unparalleled divine might. This angel of light was expressionless. According to the Lord's orders, the Lord is about to arrive in this universe. All of you, prepare to welcome him. Open up a space-time tunnel that connects to the radiant universe. This universe will soon become the Lord's. What? As soon as this was said, many angels were shocked. This was simply unbelievable. Could it be that the Lord's war has ended? Is he finally going to attack this universe? A demigod angel was extremely excited. In fact, they were not native creatures of this universe. Instead, they were creatures from the radiant universe. The reason they had arrived in this universe was to collect information about the entire universe and prepare for the radiant universe's rule over this universe. The ruler of the radiant universe was the Lord of countless angels. He was known as the Lord of Radiance. He was the strongest dominator-level god and was known as the King of Gods. However, the radiant universe was previously attacking another universe and did not have the time to deal with this ordinary universe. Therefore, these angels were very low-key and only collected all kinds of information in this universe to prepare for the future war. After waiting for such a long time, they finally received this order. That's right. The Lord's radiance has already conquered the Empyrean universe. All the gods have been killed and refined into the radiant universe. Now, our radiant universe can live out its sixth life. The angel of light was extremely proud. Many of the angels were extremely excited because the radiant universe had already survived 5 universe reincarnations. This was an extremely rare morale among the countless universes, and their strength was extremely powerful. One had to know that there was a huge difference between sovereign gods. An ordinary sovereign god could at most possess the power of one universe samsara. This was already the limit of a sovereign god. Only by allowing the universe to undergo reincarnation after reincarnation and absorbing the power of reincarnation from the collapse of the universe could the He-Gemin grow infinitely powerful. Now, the ruler of the light universe, the god of light, had obtained all sorts of miraculous encounters and possessed the power of 10 universes. This power was simply unprecedented and unprecedented throughout the ages. Any sovereign god would have to submit in the face of this invincible power and be obliterated under the boundless radiance. With just one step, the god of light could step into the supreme realm of the creation god. This time, the Lord also places great importance on this war. He will personally lead the ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods, to suppress the origin of this universe. His army will arrive and kill all enemies. The angel of light said in a low voice, "What? The ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods." When the angels heard this, they could not believe it. They knew that the reason why the Lord had risen so quickly was because he had obtained this ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods. Once this artifact had the true spirit of the god on the list, then from then on, its life and death could only be controlled by the god of light. Life and death could only be decided by the god of light. Moreover, because the true spirit of a god was controlled by the investiture of the gods, even if a god was killed by another god, he would be resurrected in the investiture of the gods and would never die. The result was obvious. Because of the power of the investiture of the gods, an army of immortal gods appeared in the light universe. No matter how many times they were killed, the gods on the list would be resurrected. With this kind of power, the light universe destroyed many universes and lived one life after another. It was said that this ultimate artifact was obtained by the god of light by accident. It was the life artifact of the celestial emperor, the ruler of a super universe who had lived 9 lives. When the immortal universe collapsed, countless artifacts were scattered in the chaos and entered various universes. Among them, the investiture of the gods entered the light universe and was obtained by the god of light. The Lord actually mobilized so many people, but this universe has not even produced a god yet. Is it worth the Lord's attention? A demigod angel felt that this was unbelievable. One had to know that the angel race had entered a few similar universes. This was just one of the ordinary universes, and they did not know that the Lord had mobilized so many people. What do you know? What the Lord cares about is not the origin of this universe, but the ultimate artifact left in this universe, the celestial emperor's jade seal. That is the artifact of the ruler of the immortal universe, the celestial emperor who had lived 9 lives. You can imagine its power. It is definitely extraordinary. The angel of light's eyes flashed. The Lord obtained the celestial emperor's treasure, the investiture of the gods, which allowed him to reach this stage. He will definitely not allow a second force in the entire chaos to have such a fortuitous encounter. Therefore, the celestial emperor's jade seal must be obtained. Even if he has to use all his strength and destroy this universe, he must snatch the celestial emperor's jade seal back. He will not allow it to fall into the hands of others. Its body was filled with a dense killing intent. We understand. The angels could not help but nod. However, we are foreign creatures. If we enter this universe, we will be suppressed by the origin of this universe and will not be able to exert the power we should have. An angel could not help but ask, "It's fine. You do not know how terrifying the investiture of the gods is. Not only can it confer titles to gods, but it can also suppress the origin laws of the universe, causing them to temporarily lose their effectiveness." The angel of light laughed coldly. According to the origin energy of this universe, under the full suppression of the investiture of the gods, there will be 3 days of its power losing its effectiveness. Within these 3 days, we can slaughter all life in this universe dozens of times. Of course, if it is a universe of the same level as our light universe, the investiture of the gods will not be able to suppress it. But this is just an ordinary universe, so suppressing it is too easy. I see. The angels were enlightened. Chapter 29:42. 1 month later, the human race held a grand celebration banquet that lasted for many days. It was a celebration for the entire race. Not only did they win against the abyss demons, but they also gave birth to an almost invincible human race demigod. This greatly increased the strength of the human race and shocked all the races in the universe. Xiaoping also naturally became one of the human race patriarchs and was promoted to the highest leader of the human race. He also learned many ultimate secrets about the human race. On this day, Xiaoping sat cross-legged in the mountain and sea scripture world and was cultivating. Based on his current cultivation, he was improving all the time. His mind could be immersed in the source of the universe at any time and comprehend many great Tao laws. He felt that the number of great Tao laws he comprehended was increasing at every moment. His strength was also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even he did not know how powerful he was now. Master! At this moment, the green ox's voice was heard. The infernal world is in trouble. What trouble? Xiaoping opened his eyes and asked. I'm not sure what happened. I only know that the source energy of the infernal world seems to be increasing at an extremely fast speed. In a short period of time, it has become many times denser. Thanks to this, many demons have advanced. This is very unusual, the green ox said in a low voice. There's such a thing. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. One must know that the evolution of the universe was slow and rapid. It cannot be intense and rapid. The reason for this to happen must be that something big had happened in the infernal world. He immediately thought of the evil god universe because the infernal world and the evil god universe were connected. If something really happened, it might be a conspiracy of the evil god universe. However, he had to personally see what had happened. Otherwise, he would not be able to come to a conclusion. Half a day later, Xiaoping arrived in the infernal world again. As soon as he entered the infernal world, Xiaoping immediately sensed that the source of the infernal world had increased more than 10 times compared to when he had left. This was unusual. No matter how special the infernal world was, it was impossible to increase the source of hell by 10 times in a short period of time. This was unbelievable and went against the laws of nature. He was 100% sure that this was the doing of the evil god universe. Thanks to the increase in the hell's essence, the power of every hell plane received a huge boost. All the demons benefited tremendously, and their strength increased at a visible rate. He could sense that the size of the entire hell realm had expanded by who knew how many times. Many folded spaces had appeared, and countless hell planes had been added. Even the hell realm ruins hidden in the depths of alternate space-time began to surface. It was as if the world of hell had experienced a revival of spirit chi, restoring the glory of the previous universal era. Wait a minute. At this rate, we might be able to give birth to a demon god. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He could imagine the evil god's plot. With the increase of the infernal realm's essence energy, the restrictions on other cosmic life forms would gradually decrease. The suppression wouldn't be as fierce. Perhaps a demigod or even a medium god would be able to enter the infernal realm. That way, the evil god universe with large numbers of evil gods would be able to take the chance to swarm over. They would arrive at Hell World and start a war against Hell World to slaughter the devils. Those evil gods could even use this chance to kill him. Without a doubt, this must be the evil god's plot. They wanted to increase the universe's essence energy and speed up the evolution of Hell World to achieve their goal of invading the Hell Planes. So that's how it is. Is this already a case of a cornered beast doing something desperate? Xiaoping clenched his fists. To be honest, he also understood why these evil gods were getting crazier and more impatient. Although he had only been in seclusion for 3 years in the main universe, it had actually been about 110,000 years in the evil god universe. This was an extremely long time for humans. With such a long time and the lack of natural enemies, the number of humans in the evil god universe increased at a geometric rate. The number had expanded by more than 1 trillion times. Therefore, the number of furnace wizards had also expanded by 1 trillion times. These furnace wizards were extremely arrogant and ran amok in the evil god universe. They were everywhere in the universe, giving birth to countless furnace wizards who were above the immortal level. Many evil creatures were used as fuel, becoming the source of cultivation for the furnace wizards. The power of each furnace wizard was even more terrifying. They were like small suns. If this was 100,000 years ago, killing a world furnace wizard could burn a lower god to death. Then now, it could even burn a ruler to death. One could say that this made the evil gods even more helpless and fearful. This was already too much for them to handle. These evil gods didn't expect these furnace wizards to develop to such a stage. The speed at which they spread was like a plague and couldn't be stopped at all. The evil creatures that lived in many worlds were in a tragic state. They were like street rats and didn't dare to appear easily. Otherwise, they would be caught and burned to death. Humans didn't fear the evil gods anymore. This made the evil gods even more savage and furious. They really wanted to catch Xiaoping and kill him. Therefore, they paid a huge price to speed up the evolution of the Hell Plane. Even if they had to pay any price, they had to kill this source of trouble. With the full support of the evil gods, the entire Hell Plane was also speeding up its evolution. The origin energy was increasing at a visible rate, and the energy was getting thicker and thicker. But this is a good thing. Xiaoping touched his chin and his eyes lit up. To be honest, he was a little worried that he didn't have enough energy before, but the origin energy of the Hell Plane had actually evolved to this level. If he obtained the recognition of the Hell Plane's will, he would definitely obtain a huge amount of origin energy. That way, with the origin energy of the real universe, he would definitely be able to reach the ruler level. It's time to unify the entire Hell Plane. Xiaoping's heart was filled with ambition. Once he unified the entire Hell Plane, he would become the ruler of Hell and obtain the recognition of the Hell Plane's will. Moreover, before the evil gods of the evil god universe came in, he would unify the Hell Plane and become a ruler. At that time, those evil gods wouldn't be a threat, and he would kill as many as they came. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate and immediately summoned his demon subordinates. Chapter 2943. In the Green Lotus Hell, countless demons gathered in front of an empty space. Xiaoping looked down at the many demons on the ground. After several years of development, the number of demons in the Green Lotus Hell had increased. It wasn't just a few times, but thousands or even tens of thousands of times. This snowballing method of subduing demons was too terrifying. 1 became 2 times, 2 became 4 times, and 4 became 8 times. It didn't take long for the Green Lotus Hell's forces to spread all over the Hell world. Basically, 1/3 of the Hell world had been unified by Xiaoping's demons. Right now, the number of demigod demons had reached 300,000. As for the primordial demons, and other elite demons, it was impossible to count. The reason why there were so many demigod demons was actually related to the recovery of the origin of the Hell world. Many perfected primordial demons have been stuck at a bottleneck and couldn't break through for a long time. But as soon as the origin of Hell was recovered, they broke through together. So the number of demons that had been subdued and broken through had reached 300,000 demigod demons. This was the most powerful faction in the infernal realm. All of the demons were terrified, and there was no way they could contend against them. Seeing this situation, he was very satisfied. His hegemony had been achieved. Just these demon subordinates alone were enough to sweep the entire main universe and the abyss world. After all, there were 300,000 demigod demons. Who could resist them? Also, the number of demigod demons was increasing rapidly. He couldn't imagine how many more demigod demons he would have in the future. Master! Many demigod demons knelt on one knee and looked at Xiaoping with great respect. They could feel the bloodline in Xiaoping's body that was as hot as a star, that undefeatable demonic aura, and that unfathomable power that was like an abyss. Only such an existence could become the Lord of Hell, the leader of all demons. It was also because of their master's existence that they could improve so quickly and become the infernal Golden Crow's dependents. With the powerful demonic bloodline in their bodies, their strength improved by leaps and bounds. They were much stronger than before. Also, because of the Nether God Curse's power, they were extremely united. They would no longer fight with each other. Instead, they worked together and unleashed a torrential power that crushed all other forces. In the past few years, they had destroyed countless powerful demonic forces, destroyed many high-level hell planes, and captured many demigods. Such power was simply invincible. I've waited too long. Xiaoping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking down at the group of devils. I want to sweep through the entire hell realm in a short time. I want to become the Lord of Hell, the king of all devils, and rule over all devils. Whoever dares to disobey will be killed without mercy. Yes, Master. We will definitely sacrifice our lives for you and die for you. Many of the demigod demons were extremely excited, and their bodies were trembling. The war was finally about to begin. What followed was a vast war to unify the entire infernal realm. Wonderful. Master is finally going to unify the infernal realm. 3 years. I've waited for 3 whole years. Master has finally said these words. Huh. Master of a high-level hellish plane? You can all go to hell. That's right. There can only be one king in this infernal world, and that's Master Fengdu. All the demigod demons roared, and their blood boiled. There was no doubt that this would be an epic war that would sweep through the entire infernal realm. No devil could avoid it. They would also see the emergence of the first demon king in this infernal realm, the king who would unify countless devils. And as the subordinates of the demon king, they would definitely stand at the peak of hell. In an instant, under Xiaoping's orders, the other devil forces that had not yet submitted to the Green Lotus Hell launched an attack, raiding high-level hell planes one after another. Under the siege of 300,000 demigod demons and an army of trillions of devils, no devil force in a high-level hell plane could stop them. Such a power was like the torrent of history, crushing all devils. At the same time, because the infernal realm was simply too big, in order to solve this problem, Xiaoping would basically dispatch the black hole worms to dig void passages everywhere, connecting high-level hell planes. This was like building a high-speed railway, connecting all the infernal realms into one. In this way, if a high-level hell plane was at war, the devils of other hell planes could instantly arrive to provide support. This also allowed the power of all the devils to be connected as one. Basically, there would be no obstacles between hell planes, and they would no longer have to waste a lot of time on traveling. For the infernal realm, this was simply a qualitative change. At this moment, the power of the black hole worm elders had also greatly increased. At the very least, they had all advanced to the immemorial era, and some had even advanced to the Archean era. It could be said that their power was many times greater than that of the Archean era. Therefore, it was really too easy for these black hole worms to dig space-time passages, and it was too fast. They did not need to spend much time at all to dig space-time passages. The roads were clear, and the army was at its peak. This was simply invincible. More often than not, Xiaoping did not even need to do anything, and the passing hell planes would all surrender at the sight of him. In any case, these devils did not have any backbone, and all of them were very roguish. In any case, it did not matter which devil they submitted to. They revered the strong from the bottom of their hearts. In the face of such a terrifying devil army, it was not shameful for them to surrender. However, this unbridled conquest of so many hell planes also caused fear and panic among the rulers of the other high-level hell planes. They all banded together and formed a force to resist the devil army of the Green Lotus Hell. After all, the rulers of these high-level hell planes had long since become accustomed to tyrannizing others. They were used to being emperors. How could they be willing to submit to Xiaoping and become the subordinates of other devils? They were not willing to give up their power and wealth at all. Therefore, in order to resist the Green Lotus Hell, they all banded together and gathered together. At this moment, in the palace of a high-level hell plane, the remaining demigod devils were gathered together for a meeting. Their expressions were extremely grave, and their faces were as black as charcoal. It could be said that there had never been a meeting as heavy as this one. You guys tell me, what should we do now? The one speaking was the leader of the demigod devils, the ruler of the high-level hell plane, the plague fiend. It was a devil that spread endless plagues and possessed extremely terrifying destructive power. Wherever it went, it caused countless deaths and injuries, spreading death and plagues. Its strength was boundlessly terrifying. Chapter 29:44. What else can we do? Why don't we just surrender? The Green Lotus Hell has already taken over 2/3 of hell. There are more than 700,000 demigod realm demons. There's still 1/3 of the hell that hasn't been conquered. We're at our wits' end. One of the demigod realm demons said helplessly. He was in despair. In the beginning, there were only 300,000 demigod realm demons in the Green Lotus Hell. However, as the war progressed, they displayed an unstoppable momentum. Countless high-level hells were conquered. In the end, these demigod realm demons couldn't resist. They were all defeated by Xiaoping and submitted to him. Therefore, countless demons surrendered and became the subordinates of the Green Lotus Hell. This caused the Green Lotus Hell's power to expand rapidly. The number of troops also increased. Surrender my ****. One of the demigod realm demons scolded. You guys want to be that kid's dogs? I don't want to be one. We're all demigod realm demons. Why should we submit to that guy? Also, our territories, our subordinates, our wealth, we have to hand them all over. Can you guys endure such humiliation? The one who spoke was the Power Demon King. He had immense strength and was extremely brave. He was a boorish fellow. Therefore, he never submitted to any demons. When he encountered problems, he would use his fists. His battle prowess was well known among the many demigod realm demons. That's easy for you to say. There are 700,000 demigod realm demons and an endless army of demons. How are we going to resist them? Although it's a humiliation to submit to those demons, if you don't submit, you'll die. What's your choice? One of the demigod realm demons sneered. Hearing this, many demigod realm demons' eyes flickered. The situation was clear. If they surrendered, they could live. If they didn't, they would lose everything. At that time, not only would they lose their territories and wealth, but they would also lose their lives. If they surrendered, they could still live. In fact, as long as they had the strength of a demigod, they could earn back any wealth or territory. Power was the greatest asset of these demigod realm demons. If that's the case, you should go and surrender. Why are you still here in this meeting? I think he's a spy from Fiend. He snuck into this meeting to shake our morale. The Power Demon King roared in anger. I'm just talking about the difficulties we're currently facing and want everyone to find a solution. I'm not trying to shake the morale of the troops. A reckless man like you is always one-track minded, and it's very easy for other demons to eliminate you. I think you're the biggest spy, and you simply want us to die. The demigod Fiend sneered. Do you want to die? Do you want to spar with me? The Power Demon King was enraged. That's enough. This is a demigod conference. Why are you guys still making a ruckus here? The Pestilence Fiend shouted angrily, stopping the two demigod fiends from quarreling to prevent the conflict from escalating. The two demigod demons sneered, but they were sensible enough to stop quarreling. All right, what other suggestions do you have? If you have any ideas on how to deal with the Blue Lotus Hell, feel free to speak up. The Plague Fiend said in a deep voice. However, for a very long time, the group of demigod demons remained silent. They frowned and did not have any ideas. Actually, it's not like there's no other way. A demigod demon suddenly said, "Oh, puppet demon, do you have any ideas?" The Pestilence Fiend asked. You guys might have forgotten that we demons aren't the only forces in hell. In fact, there's a third powerful force. The puppet demon smiled faintly. Wait a minute, are you talking about the void monsters? The Pestilence Fiend and the other demons frowned. That's right, the void monsters. Although they're the greatest enemies of us demons, our greatest enemy has become the Blue Lotus Hell. As the saying goes, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. The puppet demon cackled. We can totally divert the trouble and let the void monsters deal with the demons of the Blue Lotus Hell. Let them fight amongst themselves, and we'll reap the benefits. What do you guys think? Hearing this, many demons were excited. They felt that this was a good idea. To demons, there was no such thing as morality. As long as they could win, they would try anything. This is a good idea, but those void monsters have no intelligence. We can't control them at all. The Pestilence Fiend frowned. He felt that diverting the trouble was a good idea, but he was afraid that the other party would not fall for it. It's fine. The puppet demon cackled. Actually, I have a secret treasure on me called the Spirit Attraction Incense. As long as I light it, those void monsters will pounce on us like hungry dogs. There's no way to control them. It's just that this secret treasure was useless before. But it's different now. We can use this secret treasure to attract the void monsters and let the two forces fight amongst themselves. You actually have a secret treasure like this? Doesn't that mean that if you have a grudge against a demon, you can just light it up and the other party will die? Some demigod demons who had a grudge against you were suddenly wiped out by the void monsters. Don't tell me you did it? The Power Devil King could not help but ask. The group of demigod demons couldn't help but be on guard as they stared at the puppet demon. Well, who knows? Maybe they deserved it. The puppet demon cackled. It didn't deny it. All right, there's no point in talking about this. Let's do it this way. We'll start this plan of diverting the trouble and let the demons of the Blue Lotus Hell suffer heavy losses to buy us some time. The Pestilence Devil was filled with killing intent. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk at this moment, a wormhole appeared in the void. It seemed to be torn apart by a powerful force. Then, this wormhole seemed to pass through an unknown distance. Then, a figure appeared in front of the demigod demons. He emitted a terrifying aura. It was as though time and space in this area had stopped. All the demigod demons felt an uncontrollable tremble. You? What kind of demon are you? The Pestilence Devil stared at the figure that suddenly appeared. He was shocked. There was actually a demon who could pass through layers of restrictions and directly reach his conference room. Moreover, he was so arrogant. He appeared in front of them. He was too arrogant. You can call me Fiend. The person who spoke was Xiaoping. He appeared directly in front of the demons and looked down on them. What? His words were earth-shattering, and the demigod Fiend Devil's hair stood on end. After all, the ruler of the Green Lotus Hell, the king of the trillions of Fiend Devils, the existence who could sweep through all the planes of hell, was none other than Fiend, the Fiend Devil. Sogu website. Chapter 2945. Damn it. How did you know we were holding a meeting here? The Blight Devil and the other demons stared at Xiaoping with murderous intent. They were puzzled. Because the location of their meetings was kept secret, outsiders shouldn't know at all, but this demon Fiend actually knew about it and came to them so precisely. They also knew that since this demon Fiend dared to come to them so openly, it meant that he was fully prepared and would not take any risks. It's simple. I planted a spy here. Xiaoping stood with his hands clasped behind his back. As expected, the Blight Devil could not help but clench his fists. He was furious. He knew that with so many demigod demons here, there would be a few demigod demons who could not resist becoming spies. After all, the Green Lotus Hell was too powerful. They would at most lose their territories and wealth if they surrendered. But if they resisted, they would even lose their lives. After weighing the pros and cons, even a fool wouldn't know what to choose. Demigod demons who had the courage to resist were still relatively rare. Who is it? Who betrayed our demon coalition? Which one of you is so shameless? A demigod demon cursed. He was furious. He wanted to catch the traitor and tear him to pieces. They had worked so hard to establish this alliance, but they found a spy. If they did not catch the traitor, their alliance would not be established. It's not that hard to find out who the spy is. All of you, step forward now. Xiaoping said calmly. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, all the demigod demons in the meeting place seemed to move. Basically, 2/3 of the demigod demons were on Xiaoping's side. The strength demon, who had argued the most fiercely, and the demigod demon were on Xiaoping's side. Instantly, the remaining demigod demons were dumbfounded. Their mouths twitched, and they were dumbfounded. They could not believe their eyes. What the F***CK was going on here? They only wanted to catch a few spies. Who knew that 2/3 of the demigod demons were spies? What was the point of fighting? It seemed that they were the weak ones. This was too much. Had they entered a den of thieves? They were the only ones who were not spies. Everything else was. The faces of the demigod demons turned green. Strength demon, you slut. Just now, you were acting all high and mighty. I didn't expect you to have already surrendered. I thought you were a righteous demon who didn't fear power. I didn't expect you to kneel faster than anyone else. The plague demon was so angry that he almost vomited blood and fainted. Just now, it thought that this strength evil demon was a loyal and courageous warrior, a trustworthy companion. It did not expect that he was a spy and had already surrendered to the evil Fiend a long time ago. That face from before was all an act. As expected of a demon, his acting was so King good. What do you know? Master is the strongest demon in hell, the future lord of hell. You trash actually want to form a resistance army? That's like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourselves. The power demon chuckled. Demons who dare to resist Master must all die and be swept into the dust of history. Its face was ferocious. You. Hearing these words, the plague demon was so angry that it went crazy. Looking at the strength demon's lackey appearance, licking it more cleanly than anyone else, it really thought that this guy was a companion. Now, it was really blind. I can give you a chance. You can still submit to me and become a part of the Green Lotus Hell. But if you refuse, you will become my enemy. You will die without a doubt. Make your choice, Xiaoping said calmly, giving them one last chance to make a choice. He would use his power to suppress the demon. When these words came out, many demigod demons hesitated. If it was before, they would still want to resist. But now, the evil Fiend was stronger than them. Was there any point in resisting? 2/3 of their companions have been instigated to defect. The remaining ones were no match for the evil Fiend. Bastard, even if I die, I won't surrender. You boneless demons, go to hell. The pestilence demon bellowed angrily. It became bold and violent, and actually rushed towards Xiaoping to kill him. Xiaoping looked at the plague demon calmly and slapped him. Dong! In an instant, the plague demon's entire body was crushed. It was as if a huge hand had squeezed it from the inside out. In an instant, it was crushed into a cloud of blood mist. Even its soul was reduced to dust at this moment. Seeing this scene, the demigod demon's hair stood on end. They were terrified. Even a demigod demon, like the plague demon, was crushed with a single palm. Wouldn't the other demigod demons be killed like bugs? How were they supposed to defend against it? We surrender. We surrender. Lord Fiend, we were wrong. Please spare our lowly lives. We will go back and disband the army now. We will surrender to the Green Lotus Hell and become a part of Lord Fiend. One by one, the demigod demons surrendered without any backbone. Faced with this kind of pressure, they had no way to resist. The only way to survive was to surrender. Very good. Xiaoping nodded with satisfaction. As the saying went, the best soldiers could use strategy. Resolving the battle without bloodshed was the highest realm of battle. Who knew how much energy he could save by doing this? Moreover, in the future, these demons would be his subordinates. They would be an important force to resist the evil god. Naturally, he would reduce the losses if he could. There was no need to kill all of them. Of course, if any of them dared to resist, he did not mind killing them all. Whoosh! In an instant, the nether god curse fused into the bodies of the demigod demons. This way, they could no longer resist Xiaoping's power. However, when a last nether god curse landed on the puppet demon, with a bang, the puppet demon's body immediately exploded into pieces. Xiaoping looked over and saw that after the puppet demon exploded, only a black ball of light was left. It looked like a black skeleton, emitting a sinister and evil power. You're not a puppet demon. You're a creature from the evil god universe. Xiaoping squinted his eyes and immediately recognized the true identity of the puppet demon. That's right. As expected of the Furnace Master, an existence that caused so much trouble in our evil god universe. Originally, I wanted to make you demons suffer heavy losses. I didn't expect you to be so despicable. The war hasn't even started, and you've already bribed most of the generals. How hateful. The black skeleton gritted its teeth and was extremely depressed. It didn't expect the Furnace Master to be so despicable and shameless. He was already so strong, and yet he was still using dirty tricks. He was really shameless. Chapter 2946. Still trying to sow discord? Based on your intelligence, this is the only plan you can come up with. Unfortunately, it's too late. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. When the Green Lotus Hell's army was attacking the other planes of hell, he wasn't idling around. He went deep into the enemy's camp and forcefully subdued demigod demons. However, under his orders, these demigod demons couldn't reveal their identities for the time being. They were spies in the dark, only revealing their true identities at the critical moment. His goal was to capture all the opposing demons in one fell swoop when these demons formed the Alliance army, subduing all of them and catching them off guard. In fact, the outcome of this war was already decided from the start. Even a lion would go all out to capture a rabbit. Naturally, he wouldn't underestimate any opponent. Even if he had the advantage, he had to minimize his losses to win this war. The result was obvious. He had already won. After the so-called resistance army was defeated, no demigod demons could resist the power of his demon army. Even if there were some scattered resistance, they were just roaming soldiers. They couldn't pose any threat at all. The only threat now was these enemies from the evil god universe. Damned Furnace Master, our Lord Evil God definitely won't let you off. Just you wait. Very soon, the entire hell world will be destroyed. All the demons will become our evil god slaves. The black skeleton roared angrily. With a bang, after saying this, it exploded with a loud bang, shattering into pieces. Obviously, it didn't want to die in Xiaoping's hands, so it directly self-detonated. Evil God, even if you don't come looking for me, I'll come looking for trouble. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze distant. A few months later, Xiaoping had swept through all of the high-level hell planes in the hell world. All of the demigods had submitted to Xiaoping, and trillions of demons had become his subordinates. It could be said that he had become the first demon king in the history of this universe. The first demon king to rule over hell. His power and authority had risen to the peak. At this moment, Xiaoping could feel the boundless providence and origin energy of the entire hell world converging on his body. Every move he made seemed to draw upon the boundless origin energy. He knew that this was the wish power of all living beings. The boundless providence. Any enemy that dared to attack him would suffer a backlash. What was the Lord of Hell? This wasn't a self-conferred title, but rather the recognition of countless demons. Only then could one truly become the Lord of Hell, the most powerful and respected existence in the hellish realm. As long as all living beings approved of it, the infernal realm's essence would also approve of it. However, obtaining the recognition of countless demons was extremely difficult. One had to sweep through countless demons and make them submit to him in order to achieve such a thing. Even in the last era of hell, the number of devils that could accomplish such a feat could be counted on one's fingers. In this infernal era, Xiaoping was the first and possibly the only one. This power is too strong. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He could feel that he had received the blessing of the entire hell realm. His magic power was rising endlessly. Even he himself wasn't sure how powerful he was. Previously, he had the blessing of the Green Lotus Hell. But now, he had the blessing of the entire hell world. It was like he was carrying the power of the entire universe on his back. Normally, the infernal realm's essence wouldn't do this. But at this moment, the infernal realm's essence sensed the danger of destruction and sensed the enemies from other universes. To get rid of these tumors, it buffed Xiaoping's body in hopes that he could get rid of these evil gods from other universes. Because of that, he sensed that his power had increased tremendously. It was like he had turned into a god. His every action and every word was like that of a god. Head out, wipe out the void monsters. Xiaoping ordered the many demons. He wanted to wipe out the space tunnel that the evil god universe had left in Hell World. This was a tumor that sucked out Hell World and had to be wiped out. He could also sense the will of the infernal realm's essence. Once he wiped out the space tunnel and killed the evil gods and void monsters, he would be favored by the infernal realm's essence. That way, he would be favored by the essence of hell and rewarded by the boundless essence energy of hell. It would be like receiving an immeasurable amount of virtuous karma. Once he obtained such a large amount of essence energy, he would be able to rise to the ruler level immediately. He would reach an unprecedented level and become the first god of Hell World in the modern universe. The benefits were limitless, so he couldn't wait to destroy the nest of the void monsters. He wanted to chase the evil gods back to their home so that they wouldn't be able to step into Hell World. Hong Long Long, in an instant, under Xia Ping's command, the endless demonic army advanced towards the void monsters' lair. They were really emotional. Previously, the void monsters used the demons as food, and they had wanted to take revenge. Now, they finally found the chance. At this moment, within the nest of the void monsters, there were many evil gods. Some are lower gods, some are middle gods, and some are even higher gods. All of them gave off a strong aura that twisted the space around. The nearby void monsters all shivered and didn't dare to look at them. After all, compared to the evil gods, they were just slaves. How is the progress of the Hell World's essence? How long more before we can enter with our true bodies? We won't be suppressed by the Hell World's essence anymore. An evil god asked. Don't worry, it will happen soon. In a few more months, this Hell World will totally transform and evolve. When that happens, even higher gods will be able to enter. Another evil god laughed. That is great. That furnace master caused such a huge commotion in hell. It was as if he had conquered all the demons in Hell World and became the master of hell. He has collected limitless luck. Kiki, he is just struggling before death. Once our plan is completed, many evil gods will attack, and it will be enough to wipe this kid out. All his plans will be for naught. That's right. Let this kid be arrogant for now. Soon, the entire Hell World will be ours, and no demons will be able to survive. This fella has created a huge problem in our evil god universe. He has pretty much forced our evil god universe into a desperate situation. This time, we will let this fella taste what despair and pain is. The many evil gods were filled with killing intent. Chapter 29:47. Damn, Lord Evil God. Just then, a void monster ran in. Those devils and the Lord of Hell, Fiend, have led a huge army of devils towards our lair. They're coming at us menacingly. They're going to wipe us out completely. He hollered and instantly told them the intel. What? How audacious. We haven't even attacked yet. Yet a mere fiend dares to attack us. This is simply preposterous. Too arrogant. An evil god hollered in rage and scolded. His lungs were about to explode from rage. They hadn't even attacked the demons, and they actually dared to charge into their nest. They were just so arrogant and didn't care about them at all. They came at the right time. I was worried that I couldn't find trouble with the furnace master elsewhere. Who knew that they would actually ask to die and charge right here? If I don't help them, then how can I face their stupidity? That's right. Didn't we expect such a thing? The furnace lord won't let us complete our plan. Once he finds out about our plan, he'll definitely come to destroy this space-time tunnel and prevent us from entering the Hell Realm. That's right. That's why we came from the Fiend God Cosmos to guard this base. With us here, no matter how arrogant the Furnace Master is, he won't be able to destroy the space tunnel. Moreover, the nest of the Void Monsters is filled with evil god restrictions and is connected to the evil god universe. It can resist the suppression of the Hell World's origin source to the greatest extent. In the nest, we can also display 99% of our combat strength. If the Furnace Master dares to find trouble, then he is really asking to die. If not for the ruler god being too strong, he might have broken the seals here. If not, even the ruler god is here, then nothing will go wrong. The evil god's disgust and killing intent surged. They didn't care about Xia Ping's attack at all. Instead, they felt that this was a good chance for them to take revenge. He is here. The Furnace Master is here. An evil god seemed to have sensed something. Very good. Let us head out to meet the Furnace Master. Let's see how powerful he is. Many evil gods gave off terrifying killing intent. And at this time, under Xia Ping's lead, the endless demon army arrived, their bodies exuding a terrifying demonic energy, covering the sky and earth. The entire nest of the Void Monsters immediately went on alert. Countless heretic god seals appeared in the nest, forming a three-dimensional defensive array formation. It was like an absolute defense. No matter how the enemy attacked, it would be hard to break through the defenses of the void monster's nest. You want to defend to the death? How could it be so simple? Since it's hiding in its nest, we'll just shake it to death. Xiaoping waved his hand and immediately took out a divine weapon, the war horn. This was a divine weapon that came from the god of war and contained a terrifying sound wave. The sound pattern mountain, a mystic realm that had once shaken the entire universe, was unintentionally emitted by the power of the war horn. The power of the sound waves that erupted from the war horn was enough to penetrate countless restrictive formations. When the war horn sounded, there would be countless deaths and injuries. It was like a magnificent army with thousands of men and horses attacking the enemy. There was nowhere to hide. Xiaoping didn't bother talking nonsense with the evil gods and attacked right away. He came here to wipe out the evil gods and not to persuade them to surrender. He held the war horn and used all his strength to activate the god weapon. Woo 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 woo, under Xiaoping's full power, the war horn immediately sounded. With his body as the center, waves of terrifying sound waves spread out. The sound waves formed the ripples of the Tao laws and seeped out. Like a wave, it smashed towards the nest of the void monsters. No formation could block it. Not good. The expressions of the evil gods changed. They wanted to see how strong these demons were, but who knew that the furnace master was so shameless? He actually took out a god weapon to attack. In the blink of an eye, the void monsters that heard the war bugle could not even hold on for a second. Their souls were instantly shattered. Ah, ah, ah. One by one, the void monsters let out shrill screams. Very quickly, they died tragically in the nests of the void monsters. Even the evil gods hiding in the nests were instantly injured. They felt like their bodies were struck by the Tao laws and their souls were injured. Fresh blood seeped out from the corner of their mouths. Moreover, as the war horn rang out, the sound waves came wave after wave. The strength stacked up, and it wasn't as simple as 1 + 1. Pung, pung, pung. In an instant, the entire layer began to tremble. Many of the restrictive formations began to crackle and crack, and the entire layer began to show signs of collapsing. If this continued, the nest would definitely be destroyed by the war horn. No, we can't continue like this. We have to stop the furnace master. Shameless person, he actually used the god weapon. Stop the furnace master. Let's kill him right away. The evil gods could no longer control themselves. If they didn't make a move, not only would the void monster's lair be destroyed, but the void monsters would also be shaken to death. So. As soon as he finished speaking, these evil gods stepped out of their lair and scattered to various places to resist the divine might of the war horn. In an instant, all the ripple attacks were shattered. They gave off terrifying evil god power, and an indescribable, terrifying aura spread out. It seemed like it was corroding and twisting the Tao laws in this hell. Damn furnace master, you're courting death. An evil god hollered in rage. He held a 3-foot spear and was filled with killing intent. Attack! Kill the furnace master. Don't give him a chance to live. An evil god held a long sword. His body gave off a dark aura that seemed like it could corrode everything. Ants, go to hell. An evil god laughed coldly. He wore gloves, and his muscles were bulging. His fists broke through space. At that moment, the 3 evil gods formed a triangle and charged towards Xiaoping. It was as if they had surrounded Xiaoping, not giving him any time or space to escape. Stupid evil gods. Xiaoping was expressionless. He didn't even look and took out the second god artifact, Mjolnir. This was a god artifact he found in the deep abyss and came from the lightning god. It was said that he was a god artifact. One could imagine how strong his Mjolnir was. He grasped the lightning Tao and could control all lightning in the world, even tribulation lightning. Sogu website. Chapter 2948. In an instant, Xiaoping did not say a word. He held the mace of the god of thunder in his hand and swung it at the 3 evil gods. Boom, boom, boom. Billions of bolts of purple tribulation lightning struck down, forming a sea of lightning that engulfed the 3 evil gods, leaving them with nowhere to run. What? The three evil gods' hair stood on end. They could feel the terrifying, destructive power of the tribulation lightning, which had locked onto their souls. No matter how they tried to dodge, they couldn't escape. However, it was too late for them to dodge at this moment, because the purple tribulation lightning was simply too fast. When Xia Ping's hammer smashed down, billions of purple tribulation lightning bolts bombarded them at the same time. This kind of attack surpassed everything, and it crossed countless dimensions. Rumble, the three evil gods let out shrill screams. Their bodies were hit by the attack, and it was as if they were being punished by billions of tribulation lightning bolts. As evil gods, they were most afraid of tribulation lightning, which was extremely young and unyielding. As soon as the tribulation lightning touched their bodies, it was like melting ice and snow, obliterating much of their evil god power. The tribulation lightning even struck the Lord of the Godhead in their bodies, penetrating the defense of the Godhead and attacking the deepest part of their souls. Ah! The three evil gods screamed, their eyes wide. They didn't even have the chance to fight back, and the souls inside their godheads were instantly struck into nothingness. They died immediately. At the same time, their evil god bodies were also struck into ashes, and they disappeared from the world. Only three evil godheads were left in the air. Impossible. The other evil gods couldn't believe what they saw. This guy hadn't reached the god realm, and he was only a demigod. Even if he had a divine weapon, he couldn't be so terrifying. It was merely a hammer strike, yet it had actually killed three lower deities. What kind of terrifying battle prowess was this? How could they believe such a ridiculous thing? Damn it, this kid has been blessed by the origin of the hell world. His strength has been endlessly enhanced. I'm afraid he already possesses the battle strength of the divine realm. In terms of battle strength alone, I'm afraid he's no weaker than a mid-god. One of the evil gods had an extremely ugly look on his face. He had never expected such a thing to happen. He was just a demigod, but he actually had the battle prowess of a middle god. It was really unimaginable. So what if he is buffed by the source of hell? Let's attack together and kill this fellow. With so many evil gods attacking together, even if this kid has 3 heads and 6 arms, he won't be our match. That's right. Let's attack together and kill this kid. The many evil gods were filled with killing intent and hollered in rage. Rumble, in an instant. Not only were the evil gods not frightened by Xia Ping's attack, but the ferocity in their bodies was also stimulated. All of them charged towards Xia Ping. Terrifying great path laws blasted out from the bodies of these evil gods. In an instant, they pierced through the void of hell and twisted the great path laws for billions of light years. These were like chains of order, sealing the space-time of hell in all directions. It was as if the surrounding area was enveloped by the great path domain of the evil gods, turning it into a divine kingdom. All the laws of the creatures in the divine kingdom were controlled by the gods. This was the terrifying part of the gods. Once the divine kingdom appeared, it was like a divine kingdom enveloping the space-time in all directions. Wherever the divine kingdom enveloped, all the source laws of the universe would be tampered with. No ordinary person would be able to move or use any power. In this way, how could ordinary people be a match for the gods? They were like ants. They were not opponents in the same dimension at all. At the same time, the divine power of the gods was even more terrifying. It could easily erode the laws of the universe and corrode the essence of life. Once divine power invaded, it could instantly destroy any life. Even a wisp of divine power was not something that could be resisted by creatures below the divine realm. It would instantly explode the bodies of ordinary people. At this moment, there were so many evil gods attacking at the same time. It was as if they had destroyed the space-time of hell. All the creatures were like ants, crushed by the terrifying divine power. Good timing. Xia Ping's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. There was no fear at all. Originally, when faced with such terrifying power, Xia Ping was not a match for so many evil gods. But at this moment, he had the blessing of the entire hell world. This was equivalent to him becoming the son of destiny of the entire universe. He had expanded his domain to the entire Hell universe. One could imagine how terrifying the power of Xiaoping's domain was. Even if the gods could tamper with the laws of a part of the universe, they could not tamper with the entire universe. If they could really do this, they would be the god of creation. They would not be intermediate gods or superior gods. Therefore, the magic power in Xiaoping's body was extremely terrifying. It was vast and boundless. Even though the quality of his magic power was far from the divine power of the gods, the quantitative change resulted in a qualitative change. With the blessing of the entire universe's source power, even the magic power in his body could easily destroy the divine power. It was just like how a drop of water could not go against steel. But the water of the entire ocean could easily twist the steel and crush it into dregs. Most importantly, he was not just relying on the magic power in his body. He also had many divine weapons that could greatly enhance his combat power. The supreme divine weapon, Six Paths Millstone. In an instant, Xiaoping made a grabbing motion and took out the Six Paths Grindstone. This was an unparalleled god artifact from the previous era of Hell. It carried the boundless karmic luck of Hell and contained an unimaginable amount of divine power. Even the strongest divine weapon in the evil god universe could not be compared to the Six Paths Millstone. Walhalla, when the Six Paths Millstone appeared, billions of light years were enveloped by it. At this moment, the time and space of billions of light years stopped. All the evil gods were dumbfounded. They could feel that their bodies could not move at all. It was as if they were suppressed by a vast power. Only their thoughts could move. What? What is this? The evil gods were dumbfounded. They saw the Six Paths Millstone was like a star, spanning across billions of miles in the void. It emitted a vast, ancient, and immortal aura. It contained the power of the Six Paths, Heavenly Tao, Animal Tao, Ghost Tao, Azura Tao, Human Tao, Hell Tao, and many others. It spun and formed the power of Six Paths reincarnation. At this moment, they could feel that this divine weapon contained an unparalleled godly aura. It seemed to have the reincarnation of life and death, the reincarnation of the four seasons, and even the reincarnation of the universe. Endless reincarnation power surged out from the Six Paths Millstone. Chapter 2949. Run, run. This is the strongest godly weapon of the last Hell epic, Six Paths of Reincarnation. One of the evil gods seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but cry out in fear. This is a terrifying divine artifact that can easily suppress even demon gods, crushing them into scraps of flesh and blood. It is said that it contains the supreme power of the reincarnation cycle of the universe. Once it is activated, it will produce the power of the universe's epic. It thought of the legends of the Six Paths of Reincarnation and was terrified. Impossible. Didn't they say that the Six Paths of Reincarnation was destroyed? How can this godly weapon still exist? What kind of joke is this? One of the evil gods couldn't believe it. He heard that this godly weapon was destroyed during the war with the immortal universe and disappeared into the eternal chaos. How can a godly weapon be destroyed so easily? Even if it is destroyed, it can be restored. This kid must have obtained the strongest godly weapon of Hell, the Six Paths of Reincarnation. That's why he is so arrogant. Damn, we were tricked. We really were tricked. No wonder this kid is so fearless. He is relying on the power of this godly weapon. Retreat, retreat immediately. Return to the Fiend God universe. This kid isn't someone we can deal with. Only the sovereign-level evil gods can kill him. The evil gods were terrified. They could feel the terrifying power of the Six Paths of Reincarnation. It hadn't even appeared yet, but they could feel their flesh, souls, and even their godheads being destroyed. So. The evil gods no longer had any will to fight. They wished their parents could give them 2 more legs. All they wanted was to escape back to the Fiend God universe. But it was too late for them to escape, because under Xiaoping's control, the Six Paths Millstone came crashing down. The Heavenly Tao, Animal Tao, Ghost Tao, Azura Tao, Human Tao, and the other Taos revolve around each other, creating the power of life and death yin and yang. The 6 paths of reincarnation power even surged out from the 6 paths of reincarnation, as if it wanted to destroy everything and return them to chaos. Hong Long Long, in an instant, the 6 paths of reincarnation mercilessly came crashing down and smashed into the evil gods. Immediately, the evil gods let out shrill cries like pigs being slaughtered. They could feel their bodies being destroyed by the 6 paths of reincarnation. As soon as they made contact, the terrifying power of the 6 paths of reincarnation crushed over. All the lesser gods were instantly killed. They were instantly turned into a bloody mist and turned into ashes. As for gods, they were able to hold on for a period of time. But every time the 6 paths grindstone spun, it was as if the universe was changing its reincarnation cycle. The terrifying reincarnation power continued to circulate, and the terrifying chaos aura destroyed everything in its path. And then, in the span of a few breaths, the god was crushed into minced meat as well. The remaining high gods were barely able to resist. They tried their best to circulate the divine power in their bodies, and even tried to escape. But doing so would be futile. Crash! The 6 paths millstone produced waves of terrifying, devouring power. In an instant, the high gods were sucked into the 6 paths millstone. It was like grinding soybean milk. The power of primal chaos and reincarnation would be produced from within, and it would obliterate the power of the great Tao laws and countless magical techniques of the higher gods. No, no, no. Spare me. Spare us. We won't dare. We won't dare anymore. Spare us. We promise that we will never invade the infernal realm again. Please spare our lives. The evil gods screamed. They were terrified to the extreme. Only after they were sucked into the 6 paths millstone did they realize how terrifying this divine weapon was. After they entered, the 6 paths grindstone spun and crushed them again and again. The endless chaos aura crushed everything in its path. Even when they were awake, they were crushed into minced meat by the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. It was more painful than any torture in the world. Die. Xiaoping had no intention of showing mercy. He was only borrowing the power of the Hell World source energy to make the 6 paths grindstone unleash such terrifying power. Once he lost the support of the Hell World source energy, his own power would be reduced to its original state. He would not be a match for these higher gods. Therefore, while they were weak, it was best to kill them all at once. Moreover, the words of these evil gods could not be trusted. Those who were not of the same race were bound to have different intentions. Rumble, under Xiaoping's full power, the 6 paths grindstone spun crazily, producing terrifying reincarnation power and chaos power. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Dong. In the next second, these higher gods could not withstand it all. They were crushed into minced meat, and even their souls were obliterated. Floating in the void were lumps of flesh and blood of the evil gods, as well as the godhoods they left behind after they died. As expected of the 6 paths grindstone. It's so strong. Xiaoping exclaimed. He felt his body weakening. In fact, if it wasn't for the support of the entire universe's source energy, he would not be able to use the full power of the 6 paths grindstone. Moreover, after using it once, he lost more than 90% of his arcane energy. He felt weak like never before. If he were to use it again, he might not be able to withstand it. But no matter what, all the evil gods that invaded the Hell World were killed. In a short period of time, no evil gods would dare to invade the Hell World. How is this possible? Lord, evil gods are all dead? What is going on? How can the demons of the Hell World be so terrifying? Run. Hurry up and run. We can't stay in the Hell World any longer. Go back now. Go back and report to the ruler. Send this news back immediately. A terrifying god has appeared in the Hell World with overwhelming combat strength. At this moment, the void monsters were scared out of their wits at the sight of this. It was just one strike, and all the evil gods were obliterated. They couldn't even escape. How terrifying was this combat strength? Even the evil god was so easily killed by this devil. Then, wouldn't they small shrimps be crushed to death by this devil in a matter of minutes? So. In the blink of an eye, the void monsters fled in fright, not daring to stay where they were at all. They all ran back to their lairs in disorder. Then, they panicked and charged into the space-time tunnel that connected the Hell world and the evil god universe. These void monsters didn't even look back as they all ran back to the evil god universe. But at this moment, under Xiaoping's orders, all the demons started to attack the nests of the void monsters. They wanted to destroy the space-time tunnel that connected to Hell. Chapter 2950. Rumble. In an instant, under Xiaoping's attack and the attacks of the demons, the entire nest of the void monsters was destroyed. All the void monsters were killed before they could escape. Even the space-time tunnel was destroyed by Xiaoping's punch. No void monsters could enter the Hades world from the evil god universe anymore. Even if they wanted to build a new space-time tunnel, it would take a long time. The evil gods would not be able to come from the evil god universe in a short period of time. The evil gods had suffered heavy losses in this war. More than 300 evil gods had died in the Hades world, and there were many superior gods among them. The Hades world is evolving. Xiaoping could feel the source of the entire Hades world cheering. After he killed the many evil gods and destroyed the space-time tunnel, its source energy had increased rapidly. The nest of the void monsters was like a tumor in the human body, constantly devouring the source energy of the Hades world. Now that the nest of the void monsters had been eradicated, it was like the tumor had been eradicated and the Hades world had recovered its health. At the same time, the death of the many evil gods and void monsters had left their source energy in the Hades world, increasing the source energy of the Hades world and accelerating its evolution. He could sense that after the death of the evil gods, the source energy of the Hades world seemed to have increased by 3 times, and the speed at which the Hades world increased its source energy was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. After killing the evil gods and void monsters, he had also absorbed a huge amount of energy from them. Instantly, he felt the golden crow of Hell bloodline in his body awakening. 100 million, 10 billion, 100 billion, 1 trillion. He had already awakened 95 trillion golden crow of Hell cells in his body. Now that he had benefited from the flesh and blood of these evil gods and void monsters, his cells were awakening even more rapidly. 96 trillion, 97 trillion, 98 trillion, 99 trillion. In the end, he had awakened a total of 100 trillion golden crow Hell cells. It could be said that at this moment, all the golden crow of Hell cells in the depths of his body had awakened completely, and the golden crow of Hell bloodline had also been awakened, fusing into Xiaoping's limbs and bones. It was as if the golden crow of Hell had been resurrected in the Hades world. He has completely awakened his bloodline. Xiaoping could feel that his body was filled with the energy of the golden crow of Hell. Every cell in his body had transformed into the cells of the golden crow of Hell. They were like dark golden suns, burning with eternal heat. With his body as the center, the area within 100 trillion light years was enveloped by his aura, forming an absolute demon god domain. Endless dark golden flames were burning fiercely. Vaguely, a golden crow of Hell was born in the depths of the void. It burned with the flames of Hell and the flames of the golden crow, seemingly intertwining with the power of the law of death and the law of life. It was like a super demon god formed from laws, containing an incredible power of the demon god, as if it was a terrifying creature formed from the interweaving of life and death. At this moment, Xiaoping's entire body had turned into flames. It was as though he had turned into an elemental life form. His flesh and elemental energy were constantly interchanging, containing the utmost profound mysteries of life. This is the memory of the golden crow of Hell. In an instant, Xiaoping seemed to have sensed the deepest memories of the golden crow of Hell's bloodline. It was a bloodline inheritance, which was also the memory of the previous golden crow of Hell. Immediately, these memories flashed continuously in the depths of his sea of consciousness like a movie. He saw the life of the golden crow of Hell. The golden crow of Hell continuously fought in Hell. Just its own power alone could overwhelm and burn everything. Countless demon gods died tragically in its hands. It had a valiant battle record and was ferocious. It had mastered the power of the law of life and death. It was the only special demon god in hell, enough to make even demon gods tremble in fear. It had suppressed as many planes of hell as the eternal sands. Even the Lord of Hell was forced to acknowledge its status and be on equal footing with the Lord of Hell. Every plane of hell had a sun condensed from the power of the golden crow of hell. It had directly become the only sun of hell, shining for eternity and supreme. It had also lived 9 lives in the hell world, and it had also made great contributions. It could be said to have outstanding military achievements. However, the invincible hell world had finally met its match, and that was the immortal universe. It was a super universe that was not inferior to the hell world. That universe had given birth to many powerful immortals, each of whom wielded immortal artifacts and were invincible. At the same time, the celestial arch of the immortal universe was also invincible. He wielded the investiture of the gods, the celestial thearcha's jade seal, the god's striking whip, and other supreme divine artifacts. Even the Lord of Hell was somewhat inferior to him. Originally, these two super universes were afraid of each other and lived in harmony. However, one day, they fought over an item, starting an epic war that led to the destruction of both universes. Countless immortals and demon gods fought. The Celestial Arch and the Lord of Hell started a war. Both sides fought until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The battle between the 6 paths of reincarnation and the investiture of the gods was a clash between two supreme divine artifacts. Immortals and demon gods fell one after another. Even the Celestial Arch and the Lord of Hell couldn't bear the losses of the war. The resources of both universes were exhausted, and in the end, both universes collapsed. Many demon gods and immortals perished together. The Celestial Arch and the Lord of Hell also collapsed at the same time. Even the Golden Crow of Hell and many powerful immortals died together. As a result, the two super universes were obliterated in the long river of history. Primal Chaos, Enlightenment Stone. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He immediately knew what the gods of the two universes were fighting over. It was the Primal Chaos, Enlightenment Stone. This, or was a supreme treasure born from the depths of chaos. Legend had it that as long as one controlled the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone, they would be able to comprehend the 3,000 great Tao laws and ascend to the realm of creation God. One could imagine how crazy the Celestial Arch and the Lord of Hell were after hearing about this. In order to fight over this treasure, they fought each other at all costs. This was because they had lived a total of 9 lives. 9 was the extreme number, which was basically the limit of the universe. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't live a 10th life. If none of them could ascend to the realm of creation God, then when the time was up, all the gods would be destroyed along with the universe. They would be completely trapped in the cycle of reincarnation and turned into ashes. Because of this, the Celestial Arch and the Lord of Hell fought for the position of creation God. The two super universes had an earth-shattering battle. It was a battle that shook the heavens and cracked the earth. In the end, no one gained the upper hand. Chapter 29:51. Hold on. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. From the final memories of the Golden Crow of Hell, he learned that the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone was obtained by the Golden Crow of Hell. It was taken to Hell and buried in a graveyard. Although Hell had undergone samsara, the demon god's graveyard wouldn't be destroyed along with it. Without a doubt, the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone that caused the destruction of two super universes was still hidden in Hell. His breathing quickened. If he obtained the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone, then wouldn't he have a chance to reach the creation God realm, a realm that had never been seen since time immemorial? It had to be known that not even the celestial emperor of the immortal universe or the former ruler of Hell had reached such a supreme realm. If he could succeed, then he would surpass all of eternity, surpass everything. Rumble, before Xiaoping could think of this, the entire Hell was shrouded in a massive tribulation cloud. It was boundless and incomparably vast. It was clear that after he inherited the golden crow of hell's bloodline, he triggered the final tribulation thunder. And this tribulation thunder shook the entire hell and affected the entire universe. In other words, no matter where he went in hell, he would be struck by this tribulation thunder. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to hide. 3,000 layers of death god thunder. Xiaoping looked up. He could feel the thick tribulation cloud crazily gathering together, brewing 3,000 layers of tribulation thunder. And this tribulation thunder wasn't just ordinary tribulation thunder. It was death god thunder. This was tribulation lightning condensed from the law of death. Every tribulation lightning of death contained a terrifying power of death. Even if a god was struck by a tribulation lightning of death, he or she would be beaten half to death, or even perish. 3,000 layers of death god thunder would strike down. Even a superior god would be struck to death. One could imagine how terrifying this tribulation thunder was. It was absolutely an unprecedented tribulation. It was designed to strike down a monstrous genius who inherited the bloodline of the primordial demon god of the last universe. Come, Xiaoping clenched his fists. He had no fear in his heart. If it were before, he would have been afraid of the death god thunder. But now that he had completely awakened the golden crow of hell's bloodline, his soul power, dermic power, and physical strength had been enhanced exponentially. It was as if he had obtained the golden crow's demon god's body of hell. It could be said that his chi seemed to have transformed into the demonic power of the golden raven of hell. Every move he made was filled with terrifying power. He was practically invincible. How could he be afraid of the divine thunder of death? Moreover, he could feel that as long as he survived this death god lightning, he would be able to advance to the sovereign realm, becoming the first sovereign realm god of this era. It's just as well. I'll absorb all of the death god lightning's energy and use it to advance to sovereign realm. Xiaoping was so excited that he could feel every cell in his body boiling. At this moment, he had obtained the source energy of the modern world universe. He had also obtained the source energy of hell world. He had even devoured the source energy of many evil gods. Now, he was devouring the energy of the death god lightning. Regardless of how much energy was needed to advance to the sovereign god realm, just this amount of energy was more than enough. In fact, it could even be said to be more than enough. Dawn, dawn, dawn. In an instant, the dark death god lightning struck down. It contained extremely terrifying death energy. It was as if it wanted to destroy all life. Quick, retreat quickly. We can't stay in the tribulation clouds. Retreat immediately. Don't disturb, Master. A demigod evil demon couldn't help but shout. He immediately ordered the surrounding evil demons to retreat. Otherwise, if they were dragged into the tribulation lightning, they would be struck to death. After all, if they were to get involved in such a heavenly tribulation, it was equivalent to provoking the heavens and earth. They would definitely be struck to death by the tribulation lightning. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hearing this, many evil demons were so scared that they peed their pants. They quickly retreated billions of light years away. They didn't dare to stay there for fear of being struck to death by the death god lightning. This is too terrifying. What kind of tribulation lightning is this? Why haven't I heard of it before? A demigod evil demon was shocked. His hair stood on end. He could feel the death god lightning in the depths of the tribulation clouds. They contained extreme death energy. It was enough to make him shudder. If such a death god lightning struck down, it would be enough to turn him into ashes and cease to exist. If I'm not wrong, this might be the death god lightning. It is one of the strongest types of tribulation lightning in hell. It is condensed from the power of the law of death and contains terrifying death energy. Once hit, even a demon god will be severely injured or even die. An ancient evil demon said in a deep voice. An ancient demon said in a deep voice. It had once seen similar information in the ancient records of a demon god's ruins, but it never imagined that it would encounter it. Master will be fine, right? Many demigod evil demons were worried. After all, this was a terrifying tribulation lightning that could seriously injure even a demon god. It contained extreme death energy. One could imagine its destructive power. Moreover, Master hadn't even ascended to the god realm. How could he withstand such death god lightning? Don't worry. Master has always been struck by lightning like this. He's already used to it. Although the death god lightning this time is terrifying, it shouldn't be able to do anything to Master. A demigod evil demon was very confident in Xiaoping. Hearing this, many evil demons were speechless. Always being struck by lightning? Why did the sentence sound so wrong? What kind of existence would be struck by lightning all the time? This was too strange, wasn't it? Dong! At this moment, thousands of death god lightnings struck down at the same time, almost drowning Xiaoping's body. The surrounding void of hell for tens of thousands of light years turned into a sea of death god lightning. Any living creature that got close to this sea of death god lightning was instantly struck into ashes. However, Xiaoping didn't dodge. He opened his mouth and created a terrifying black hole, swallowing all the death god lightning into his stomach. Immediately, his power rose at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even though he was struck by the death god lightning, he was still unharmed. Instead, he was growing stronger. Too strong. As expected of Master. He's safe and sound even after being struck by the death god lightning. That goes without saying. Master is an evil demon blessed by the origin of hell. He'll definitely become the strongest demon god in the future. How can he be struck by a mere death god lightning? Don't joke around. Looks like the tribulation lightning this time is over. Even the death god lightning couldn't kill Master. Master is too monstrous. Many demigod evil demons discussed. All of them were amazed and shocked, but at the same time, they felt that this was a matter of course. Chapter 29:52. In the blink of an eye, 7 days and 7 nights had passed. Xiaoping had also been struck by the 3,000 lightning bolts of death for 7 days and 7 nights. At the same time, he had swallowed the 3,000 lightning bolts of death and obtained an enormous amount of origin energy. At this moment, he sensed that his soul and his magic power had almost reached the limit of the demigod realm. There was no way for him to continue expanding it. If he wanted to continue expanding, he had to ascend to the god realm. Endless great path laws gathered in the depths of his sea of consciousness. These great path laws gathered naturally, as if they were about to condense into a godhead. Am I going to ascend? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He sensed that if he wanted to, he could immediately control the Quetzalcoatl god's sovereign godhead, or the Golden Crow's godhead of hell, or even the true demon god's godhead. These godheads were traceable and could be easily copied without any danger. But if he did so, it would be equivalent to walking on someone else's path, which would greatly limit his future. If he wanted to ascend to the god realm, he still had to walk on his own path. Otherwise, he would forever be stuck at the ruler realm and would never be able to advance any further. What kind of power do I want to condense? What kind of godhead do I want to condense? Xiaoping clenched his fists and fell into deep thought, thinking about his own path. Boom! At this moment, he had a flash of inspiration. He remembered the Book of Illusions and the endless illusory spells he was proficient in. He was most proficient in the power of illusions. The God Realm path he wanted to walk was to turn illusions into reality and reality into illusions. He wanted to master the power of illusions and reach the supreme realm of illusions into the kingdom of the true self. He wanted to get rid of his bloodline and all the divine abilities and secret arts he had learned. Only his soul was his essence. I see. Xiaoping was neither happy nor sad. He seemed to be in an epiphany. Whoosh! At this moment, the 9 clones on his body instantly merged into one. The Origin Doppelganger technique had reached the supreme realm, Origin Unification. More than 2,000 great path laws appeared in the depths of his sea of consciousness. They combined with each other and produced trillions of changes, condensing into incredible ruler's authority. Rumble, in an instant, boundless grand Tao laws converged together, and they seemed to have condensed into crystals of the grand Tao that were suffused with boundless information and unimaginable might. However, Condensing a sovereign rank godhead required an enormous amount of origin energy. Fortunately, Xiaoping had obtained a large amount of origin energy from the modern universe. Then, he added the origin energy from the infernal world, the god of death lightning, the origin energy of many evil gods, and even the origin energy of countless furnace sorcerers from the evil god universe. When all these origin energies were added together, it was simply terrifying. Immediately, the origin energy poured into the Great Path crystal like an ocean. Originally, the Great Path crystal was illusory. However, after obtaining the origin energy, it actually turned illusory into reality. This illusory godhead seemed to be on the verge of materializing. His soul also fused with the godhead. Boom! After an unknown amount of time, the illusory godhead devoured all of the origin energy, and the godhead was successfully condensed. Promotion. I'm a ruler. Xiaoping's eyes shone with a frightening light. He sensed his 9 great clones fusing, countless grand Tao laws fusing into one, and his essence, energy, and spirit condensing. With the help of a large amount of origin energy, he finally condensed a sovereign rank godhead. Condensing a godhead meant grasping the authority of gods, grasping many grand Tao laws, and wielding authority. If the immortals of the immortal universe called this so-called godhead, they would call it the origin Tao fruit. Some Buddhist universes also called it the Buddha Sarira. No matter what, it was the crystallization of grand Tao laws, containing infinite mysteries, infinite might, and infinite power. This is a godhead. Xiaoping clenched his fists, simply unable to be any more excited. He sensed that his godhead had a hexagonal shape, which was different from any godhead he had seen before. It was like a crystal, showing transparent, dreamy colors, containing incredible power. His soul had long since fused with this godhead. The moment the godhead condensed, his body also underwent earth-shattering changes. Firstly, the magic power on Xiaoping's body had completely transformed. From magic power, it had transformed into godly power. This was a power that only gods could possess. A strand of god power was countless times stronger than magic power, world power, and life and death power. It was like the power of Grand Tao, containing unparalleled destructive power and the power of creation. Second, his bloodline had also undergone earth-shattering changes, completely transforming into the bloodline of a true god, no longer the bloodline of a mortal. His god blood contained the power of immortality. If a drop fell, it would maintain eternal activity, unless the life force was exhausted. Otherwise, a drop of god blood would last for eternity, simply an immortal substance. At the same time, the blood contained a strong corrosive power. If an ordinary creature approached it, it would naturally be corroded, thus becoming a dependent of a god, obtaining the bloodline of a god, and grasping great power. Therefore, the more favored a creature was by a god, the more power they would obtain from the god's bloodline, and the more terrifying their talent would be. The appearance of godhead, god blood, god bones, god power, and other changes meant that Xiaoping had completely advanced from a mortal to a mythical creature. His body emitted the aura of an immortal god. Is this a god? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. After advancing to the sovereign realm, the degree to which his strength had increased could not be described with just a few times. It was simply immeasurable. If a comparison had to be made, it was like a 3-dimensional creature evolving into a 4-dimensional creature, no longer on the same level, and he had become a sovereign realm god. This was an existence that far surpassed all ordinary gods, dominating everything and sweeping everything in its path. At this moment, he also understood why they were called sovereigns. They were existences that higher gods could not compare to. First, the range of his divine sense could no longer be described in terms of light years. It could cover the entire universe in an instant. It could be said that every corner of the entire universe, inside and out, could be clearly sensed by him. Even if an enemy fled to the end of the universe, they could not hide from his senses. Moreover, As long as he sensed them, he could instantly teleport from the extreme north of the universe to the extreme south of the universe with a single thought. This was the power of sovereign, omnipotent, commanding countless gods and sweeping everything in its path. Chapter 29:53. If that was all, it wouldn't have mattered. But Xiaoping could sense how terrifying a sovereign's power was. Too weak. Xiaoping couldn't help but sigh. In the past, if he wanted to destroy a high-level plane of hell, he would have needed to use his full strength and even a divine artifact. But now he didn't need to. With a light finger, he could destroy a high-level plane of hell. Only the demonic god plane might be able to resist for a while, but it wouldn't last for long. In the face of his sovereign lord's god power, everything in hell was as fragile as paper. His breath could transform into a boundless primal chaos storm that swept through everything and annihilated everything. His gaze could see through everything. Wherever his gaze reached, everything would turn into nothingness. His ears could hear the voices of all living beings. Any being that mentioned his god name would be sensed and locked onto, leaving behind their coordinates. A single flicker of his thoughts could form a terrifying mental storm that could turn countless illusion masters into lunatics. He could even easily distort the laws of the great Tao and change the laws of heaven and earth. No mortal could move in front of him. Even a glance would cause them to go crazy. At this time, he recalled what he had done in the Fiend God universe. Luckily, he had escaped quickly and left before those sovereign-level evil gods had awakened. Otherwise, if those evil gods had awakened, he wouldn't have been able to escape. He would have died without a doubt. But that was just the basic abilities of a sovereign god. The most important thing was the authority of sovereign god. This was the strongest power of a sovereign god. And this time, Xiaoping had condensed the authority of dream. Authority dream. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He could feel the power of his sovereign authority. Ability 1, Dream Body, activates the authority of dream to turn one's body illusory and illusory. One is immune to all attacks in the world. Weakness is that one cannot attack the enemy. Ability 2, Dream Doppelganger, activates the authority of dream to split into countless doppelgangers. Each doppelganger is real, and each doppelganger is fake. One can pass off the fake as the real, and no eye technique can see through it. Ability 3, Make Wishes Come True, activate the authority dream, and you will be able to stir up the laws of fate. As long as you have a wish in your heart, you will definitely be able to achieve it. It will be as if the power of fate in the world will assist you, and it will be as if you are the ruler of fate. Ability 4, Nightmare Realm. With a single thought, countless life forms can enter a dream and fall into the nightmare realm. Even a sovereign god can't escape and will be sealed in the dream realm. Ability 5, Turning the False into the Real. This ability has already broken through the boundary between reality and illusion. It can turn the false into the real, distort countless laws, and turn the false into the real. As expected of a sovereign-level authority, it's too powerful. Xiaoping was astonished. Even though this was a sovereign's authority he had condensed himself, he was still shocked by the power of his sovereign's authority. To be honest, this was somewhat similar to the power of the true demon god, but it far surpassed the power of the true demon god. It had reached the supreme realm of turning the illusory into the real and turning the false into the real. As long as it was something in his heart, it could be materialized. Of course, the more incredible something was, the more energy it would take to materialize it. Everything was an equivalent exchange. I'll go into seclusion for a period of time first. Xiaoping clenched his fists. After advancing to the sovereign realm, his strength was many times stronger. He didn't need to be afraid of those sovereign-level evil gods in the evil god cosmos. He could even kill them. At this time, it was probably those evil gods' turn to be afraid of him. After he stabilized his strength, he would head to the evil god cosmos and sacrifice all the evil gods to devour the energy of the entire evil god cosmos. With a swoosh, his body flashed, and he immediately went into seclusion to stabilize his cultivation base. At this time, in the evil god cosmos, many evil gods also knew about the failure of the Hell world. Their faces were extremely solemn. Damn it, what is going on? Didn't we send hundreds of evil gods to guard that space-time tunnel? Why did it fail? Why did all the evil gods die and not a single one of them escaped? An evil god cursed and was unable to restrain his anger. Their original plan was to increase the source energy of the Hell world. Once it reached a certain level, all the evil gods would charge over and wipe out the Furnace Lord. Now, before they even attacked, the vanguard evil gods were wiped out by the Furnace Lord. This was a slap to their faces and an insult to the evil god Cosmos. This was a humiliation that couldn't be washed away. According to the information from the void monsters that managed to escape, the reason why they were able to kill the evil gods was because the Furnace Lord had obtained the strongest divine artifact from the last era of Hell, the 6 paths of reincarnation. That was why the evil gods were unable to escape and were killed in one fell swoop. An evil god said solemnly, "Strongest god artifact, 6 paths reincarnation. Didn't they say that it was destroyed in the war? Why did it end up in the hands of the Furnace Lord? I'm not sure. In any case, the Furnace Lord did indeed obtain the 6 paths of reincarnation. Damn it, this fellow obtained the 6 paths reincarnation. He is like a tiger with wings. Right? Along with the buff from the Hell world source. How can normal evil gods be his match? But just like that, are we going to give up on taking revenge on the Furnace Lord? Of course not. Even if we want to give up, the Furnace Lord won't give up on taking revenge on us. The entire evil god Cosmos is filled with furnace wizards, and the evil god Cosmos is at its most dangerous moment. That's right. I can already feel that the power within these furnace sorcerers is getting stronger and stronger. It's already to the point where they can't be killed. Once these furnace sorcerers are killed, the entire evil god universe will be destroyed. That Furnace Lord has to be killed. If not, either he dies or we die. The many evil gods gritted their teeth and were extremely furious. They wanted to charge in a Hell world and rip Xia Ping into pieces and kill his entire family. Unfortunately, the space tunnel was destroyed by the kid, and they wouldn't be able to enter Hell world in a short period of time. Stop talking nonsense. Let's build another space tunnel, and then the Dominator-level evil gods will enter too. No matter how many trump cards he has, he will definitely die. A Dominator-level evil god was furious. To be safe, even the Dominator-level evil god personally attacked. Even if the kid had 3 heads and 6 arms, he wouldn't be able to survive. The many evil gods nodded their heads. They had never hated such an enemy so much, and this was the first time. Chapter 2954. A month later, in the Infernal World. After killing many evil gods, destroying the nests of the void monsters, and shattering the space-time passageway, the entire Infernal World underwent earth-shattering changes. After eradicating the evil gods and obtaining a large number of evil gods' origins, the origin of the Infernal World also developed rapidly. Just like the Spirit Chi revival, the origin energy of the Infernal World increased at a rapid rate. During this period of time, the entire Infernal World also produced fragments of the Infernal World one after another. In fact, after the collapse of the last Infernal era, these fragments of the Infernal World did not turn into powder. Instead, they hid in the deepest part of the Infernal World's space-time. Unless the Infernal World evolved to a certain extent, these fragments of Infernal World would not appear. However, it was clear that the current Infernal World had evolved to an extremely high degree. Fragments of Infernal World also appeared in the Infernal World, scattered in every corner. At this point, the high-level Infernal World was nothing. The Infernal World could be considered a top cultivation ground. Countless demons flocked to the Infernal World to cultivate. Their strength also improved by leaps and bounds, improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the Infernal World's fragments also appeared one after another. They were all remnants of the last Infernal era. Some of them were the palaces of the Infernal World, and some were treasures left behind by the immortals of the immortal universe after their tragic deaths. There were also all kinds of treasures. In short, the huge ancient ruins were excavated by many demons. Although it had only been a month since the Spirit Chi revival, the strength of the demons in the entire infernal world had increased by several times. The number of demigod demons alone exceeded 10 million. In fact, there were even dozens of demigods and gods present. It was as if the power that restrained the evolution of these demons was no longer there. At this moment, the infernal world had become a period of rapid growth and evolution for the demons. At this time, in the Green Lotus Palace, the Green Lotus Hell had also evolved into the infernal world. It was now the center of the entire infernal world, the place where countless high-level demons gathered. At this moment, after a month, Xia Ping had finally consolidated his sovereign realm cultivation base. He had integrated the divine power in his body and reached the acme of perfection. At this moment, he had completely grasped the power of a sovereign god. However, after becoming a sovereign, he didn't just obtain the dream authority. In fact, he had also obtained several sovereign-level authorities, such as the Feathered Serpent God's Copy Authority, the Reality Demon God's Reality Authority, the Thunder God's Judgment Authority, the War God's Massacre Authority, and the Hell Golden Crow's Sacrifice Authority. In reality, a truly powerful sovereign god didn't just have one authority. They might have several. When Quetzalcoatl was at its peak, it also had a lot of power, but its main power was replication. The others were just supporting powers and methods. The more authorities one grasped, the stronger one's combat power would be. But that wasn't all. Because he had obtained the recognition of Hell's essence and the main universe, he was able to comprehend the laws of the Great Tao very quickly. Up until now, he'd comprehended an entire 2,800 Grand Tao laws, and merely another 200 Grand Tao laws remained before he could completely master all 3,000 Grand Tao laws. Xia Ping could sense that even amongst rulers, he was considered an extremely powerful existence. He no longer needed to fear those ruler-level evil gods of the evil god universe. He might even be able to kill these evil gods with his god artifact. He was almost close to the limits of a sovereign god's combat power. At his current realm, even if he wanted to take a step forward, he didn't know how much time and effort it would take. It could be said that if he didn't have any enlightenment, he would basically be stuck at his current level for the rest of his life. He wouldn't be able to make any breakthroughs. In reality, it wasn't just Xia Ping. The other sovereign gods were the same. It was extremely difficult to take a step forward. Just like the 100-meter sprint champion Usain Bolt in his previous life, his speed had already reached 9.58 seconds. Even if he could shorten it by 0.1 seconds, it would be extremely difficult. He also started to sense the difficulty of cultivation. That's right, the Primal Chaos Tao Comprehension Stone. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He recalled the reason for the war between the Hell Cosmos and the Immortal Cosmos. It was because of the Primal Chaos Tao Comprehension Stone. Legend had it that it was a supreme divine stone that could help a ruler advance to the creation god realm. It was incomparably precious. If he could obtain this Primal Chaos Tao Comprehension Stone, he might be able to gain something. Swoosh! Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate. Based on the Hell Golden Crow's memories, his figure flashed, and he immediately arrived at a space of nothingness in the depths of hell. This place was the northernmost part of the Hell Cosmos. There was nothing everywhere, and it was filled with layers of folded spaces. Dong! Xia Ping gently pointed with his finger. Immediately, ripples appeared in the space-time of hell. Following that, the space-time of hell split open, and an incomparably huge fragment of hell emerged from this place. A vast demonic god plane of hell appeared. This was a fragment of the largest demonic god plane of the last hell epic. It used to be a battlefield of demonic gods. It was an earth-shattering battle, but a fragment of the demonic god plane still remained. It was a vast piece of land that seemed to be boundless. Just the diameter alone was more than 1 billion light years, and it was densely engraved with demonic god restriction arrays. At this moment, terrifying demonic god corpses appeared on this piece of land. The ground was covered in demonic god blood. One could imagine that this place used to be the most tragic demonic god battlefield. All sorts of famous demonic god corpses from the last Hell epoch appeared on this piece of land. It could be said that this place was truly a god's graveyard. Even after countless epochs had passed, this place still emitted a terrifying demonic god aura. It was an undying aura. Ordinary life forms couldn't even get close to this place. Only a ruler like Xia Ping could easily resist the boundless baleful aura. Originally, this place hadn't reached the time to appear, but Xia Ping had forcefully excavated it. This is the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone that led to the Hell cosmos and the immortal cosmos. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He immediately saw a stone the size of a human fist floating in the center of this piece of land. It was surrounded by a dense aura of primal chaos, as if all energy was converted into primal chaos. From afar, this was simply a small cosmos. The stone emitted an unfathomable aura of the great Tao. It was as if just by looking at it, one would feel enlightened and benefit greatly. The speed at which one could comprehend the great Tao laws had increased by leaps and bounds. Chapter 29:55. Unbelievable. Xia Ping grabbed the chaotic Tao understanding stone in his hand. He could not wait to take possession of this strange stone that originated from the chaos and refine it quickly. But he endured it. This was the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. It could only help him comprehend the grand Tao laws. It couldn't help him become a creation god. If an ordinary person obtained this primal chaos Tao comprehension stone, he wouldn't be able to become a creation god. At most, it would increase his perception. Only by raising his cultivation to the limits of the ruler realm, to the great circle ruler realm, to the point where there was no more room for improvement, could he refine the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. I didn't expect this primal chaos Tao comprehension stone to fall into my hands so easily. Xia Ping was very emotional. If the deities of the immortal cosmos and Hell cosmos knew about this, they would probably vomit blood in anger. They had paid a heavy price to fight for this treasure. Both cosmos had collapsed from the battle. But even so, none of them had obtained the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. Instead, they had perished together. However, this strange item that could destroy two universes had fallen into his hands so easily. It was really unimaginable. However, it didn't take long for him to calm down and regain his composure. It's time to attack the Fiend God universe. Xia Ping clenched his fists. His eyes glowed. Honestly speaking, the Fiend God universe had always been his greatest trouble. Even if he let the Fiend God universe off, the Fiend gods wouldn't let him or the Hell universe off. It could be said that the conflict between the two sides was irreconcilable. If there was a chance, the Fiend gods would definitely want to kill him. Since that was the case, he would strike first and kill all of them. If he could kill all of them, devour their energy, and even sacrifice the entire Fiend God universe, he would definitely be able to raise his cultivation to the Great Circle ruler realm. At that time, he would be able to refine the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone and completely comprehend the 3,000 grand outlaws. He would ascend to the supreme creation god realm. Therefore, these Fiend gods had to die. They had to become his stepping stones to become a creation god. A few days later, Xia Ping had already raised his strength to the extreme. In fact, his strength was increasing at every moment. With every passing second, he would become stronger. This was the period when his power was advancing by leaps and bounds. Whoosh! His figure flashed, and he arrived at a space-time passageway. This space-time passageway was dubbed by Tan Meng Lu and the others. It was a space-time passageway that led to the Evil God universe. This was the back door that he had left in the Evil God universe. It was the only path that could lead him to the Evil God universe. In the past, it was always those evil gods who invaded the Hell world. Now, it was his turn to invade the Evil God universe. Thump! Xia Ping waved his hand and instantly opened up the space-time tunnel. Through the space-time tunnel, his body flashed, and it didn't take long for him to arrive at the Fiend God universe. Rumble! Just as he arrived at the Evil God cosmos, the entire Evil God cosmos started to tremble. A massive amount of cosmos source energy came crashing down, and an extreme evil intent came from all directions. Without a doubt, this was the malice of the universe's source, purposely targeting an outsider like him, incomparably vigilant. After all, he was a sovereign god. One could imagine the damage he could cause to the universe. Therefore, the evil god universe instantly treated Xiaoping as an unprecedented enemy. What a strong pressure! Xiaoping was astonished. At this moment, he finally understood why living beings from other universes felt when they entered another universe. This kind of omnipresent evil intent and omnipresent suppression. It was as if the entire cosmos source energy was crashing down, wrapping around him from all directions. It wanted to suppress his strength and even crush him into pieces. Even if he could resist the suppression of the cosmos source energy, he would still be suppressed by the cosmos source willpower at any time when he was walking in this universe. He would be in big trouble at every moment. Countless experts would treat him as their mortal enemy. Moreover, this was the end of the universe, and the cosmos source was extremely weak. He couldn't imagine how terrifying the suppression would be when it was at its peak. It could be said that under the suppression of the cosmos source, his strength would be weakened by at least 50%. It was no wonder that after Feathered Serpent God was plotted against and came to the evil god universe, he would be surrounded and killed by so many evil gods. The suppression of the cosmos source on other living beings was simply too strong. And do the other evil gods know about it too? At this moment, Xiaoping's heart stirred. He sensed that his arrival had instantly alarmed the evil gods in various parts of the evil god universe. One by one, terrifying wills were awakened. Clearly, his appearance couldn't be hidden from these powerful evil gods. However, he didn't intend to hide it from these evil gods. He had arrived in the evil god universe openly and wanted to defeat these evil gods in an upright manner. He wanted to seize the evil god universe's source and completely refine the evil god universe. The moment Xiaoping appeared in the evil god universe, many evil gods were shocked. They had also received a reminder and warning from the cosmos source willpower that an unprecedentedly strong enemy had arrived in the evil god universe. Who? Who is so daring to actually dare to invade our evil god universe? A ruler-level evil god was enraged. He could sense that the enemy that invaded the evil god universe was definitely a ruler. If it wasn't a ruler, the cosmos source willpower wouldn't be so nervous. Furnace Lord, I can sense that the life form that invaded the evil god universe is the Furnace Lord. Fate Evil God roared in anger. He could sense Xiaoping's aura. How daring. We haven't even started to find trouble with him, and this kid actually came to us on his own accord. He's too arrogant. What is this Furnace Lord trying to do? Yog-Sothoth, the key of the door, was absolutely furious. He had never seen such an arrogant foreign life form in his life. He simply didn't care about the evil gods at all. He was extremely arrogant. Taking the initiative to come to a hostile universe was an act of seeking death. However, this kid did it. Without a doubt, he was looking down on the evil gods. He was using this action to tell them that even if his true body came to the evil god universe, they wouldn't be able to do anything to him. How much did this bastard want to look down on the evil gods before he would let it go? But how did this Furnace Lord level up so quickly? When did he become a ruler? Wasn't he just a demigod before? One of the evil gods was stunned. Previously, this Furnace Lord was just a demigod. Although his combat strength was strong, he wasn't a god. Just when did he evolve to the ruler level? This was really inconceivable. Chapter 29:56. Could it be that he broke through to the sovereign realm from perfection demigod realm? Some evil gods couldn't help but shout. Impossible. No matter how monstrous he is, he can't go from half-god to ruler. At most, he is a high god. Even if he is one of the top geniuses in the universe, isn't he crazy to want to go from half-god to ruler? Another evil god shook his head. If that's the case, then what exactly happened before? Some evil gods couldn't understand. There's no doubt that we've misjudged. We've been completely deceived by this fellow. The Furnace Lord is most likely a sovereign god himself. Only now has it been revealed. Evil god Fate's face was vicious. No wonder all our plans failed. No wonder those evil gods guarding the void monsters were killed. So this guy has ruler strength. He clenched his fists in rage. This was the first time he was played like this. This was simply an extraordinary humiliation. But this isn't right. Hell didn't even give birth to a god. How can this guy be a ruler? This doesn't make sense. Some evil gods were filled with questions. Do you even need to ask? This guy must be a survivor from the last Hell era. I don't know what methods he used to break free from the origin of the universe and live until this era. The evil god of fate sneered. At first, he only regained the strength of a demigod, but with the recovery of spiritual chi in the infernal world, he gradually regained his peak strength and gained the combat power of a sovereign. It was as if it could see through the secrets of the master of the furnace. I see. Then it makes sense. Despicable. What a despicable and shameless guy. He actually pretended to be a half-god to trick us. No wonder we were in such a mess. So he is a ruler. The evil gods were enlightened. All the things that didn't make sense before now made sense. No matter who this guy is, he dares to come to our universe and cause trouble. Since he's here, he won't be going back. All in one Yog Sothoth was filled with killing intent. So. As soon as he said that, these evil gods didn't say a word and immediately flew over from all over the universe. They teleported and all appeared in front of Xiaoping, emitting an unparalleled killing intent. In an instant, the entire evil god cosmos shook. Countless worlds were trembling. The mortals could feel the majestic divine might. It was as though doomsday was approaching. They came so quickly. Xiaoping stood with his arms behind his back, and his brow rose up. He looked at the evil gods that swarmed over. Basically, all the evil gods in the evil god universe were here. They were densely packed and gave off a terrifying aura. However, the only ones that could threaten him were the 9 Dominator rank evil gods. Apart from them, there was nothing worth mentioning. After all, ruler-level gods were much stronger than higher gods. They weren't even on the same level. Since you're a guest, give me a greeting gift. I will say that the calamity will descend and kill all evil gods. Xiaoping circulated the powers in his body. His words were like the words of gold and jade. Even the great Tao laws of the Fiend god universe were being tampered with. Hong Long, with his body as the center, the area within 1 billion light years was covered in tribulation clouds. Instantly, billions of death god lightning shot out from the thick tribulation clouds. The *MN retreat. Many evil gods' expressions changed, and their hair stood on their ends. They felt a lethal sense of danger. The death god lightning contained death Tao power that could kill gods. They didn't dare to stay on the spot, and they fled. But it was too late. Dong. Billions of death god lightning descended and accurately struck each evil god's head. It was like a homing missile that exploded with shocking strength. Ah! The evil gods let out miserable shrieks. Most of them were low gods. How could they withstand the power of the divine thunder of death? They were smashed to pieces in an instant. In fact, they couldn't even last a second before their entire bodies were reduced to ashes. Even their divinities were shattered, and all of their souls were sent into the underworld. In just a few breaths, half of the evil gods were killed by the death god lightning. Retreat. All of you retreat immediately. This isn't a battle you can participate in. A Dominator rank evil god roared. It waved its hand, and a terrifying divine power surged out, forming a thick curtain of night that instantly blocked all the divine lightning of death. The other evil gods were terrified, and they looked at Xiaoping in terror. They were extremely terrified of Xiaoping. Just one sentence from him had caused them to suffer heavy casualties. This ferocious dragon was too terrifying. With such terrifying combat power, it was no wonder he dared to enter the Fiend God universe. Foolish Furnace Master, you dared to enter the Fiend God universe. Your fate has been locked. Even if you hide to the ends of the primal chaos, you can't avoid death. I've already grabbed your fate. There's nowhere for you to run. The evil god of fate cackled. He took out the book of fate and seemed to control countless threads of fate. Like a spider web, they instantly enveloped Xiaoping. Under the cover of the threads of fate, Xiaoping had nowhere to run. I am an evil god that knows all time and space, an evil god from the world of hell. Perish under the torrent of time and space. Yog-Sothoth's eyes flashed with savagery. He waved his hand and seemed to blast out a torrent of time and space. The endless laws of time and space twisted, as if it could easily destroy all matter. Even an immortal god would be completely destroyed under the torrent of time and space. I am Nyarlathotep, the creeping chaos. Turn into chaos, turn into nothingness. Another sovereign evil god attacked. It was Nyarlathotep, often called the messenger. It was the symbol of mockery and contradiction. Its power was chaos. It could turn all power into chaos, into nothingness. Its power was terrifying beyond compare. I am Yog-Sothoth, the one for all. Take my strongest strike. All for one, Yog-Sothoth attacked instantly, displaying his ultimate attack. It could gather the power of all things, condense it into a single point, and then explode with a fatal attack. Back then, Winged Serpent God was ambushed by it. One attack pierced through Winged Serpent God's defense and heavily injured him, laying the foundation for victory. I am Shub-Niggurath, the black goat of the forest who has given birth to millions of descendants. Today, you will disappear and return to nothingness. Shub-Niggurath, the black goat, also attacked. Its power was life. It could produce countless children. Chapter 29:57. The power of life was extremely strong. It meant that it understood the essence of life. However, it was an evil god after all. All the lives it gave birth to were monsters. They were completely depraved and had all kinds of strange and terrifying corrosive properties. Therefore, creatures affected by its power of life would basically be cursed by the evil god. They would be forcibly turned into the black goat's dependents and obey its orders. Therefore, this was actually a kind of enslavement power. Black Goat Shub-Niggurath's power could be seen from this. It was also the most powerful evil god. Basically, most evil gods were born from it. The other evil god hegemons attacked as well. Pung pung pung. In an instant, terrifying great Tao laws twisted the universe's space-time and attacked. Even a ruler god couldn't block such a terrifying attack. Once hit, one would definitely be heavily injured. Dream body. In an instant, Xiaoping's body appeared to be in a transparent state. In an instant, he was in a state of illusory and real. Rumble instantly, the 9 rulers' attacks landed on Xiaoping's body at the same time. However, it was useless. It was as if they hid an illusion. The attacks all missed. What? Seeing this, the rulers were in disbelief. They didn't believe that their attacks couldn't hurt the Furnace Master at all. This was too ridiculous. Impossible. You were hit by my Book of Destiny. You should have been covered by the spiderweb of destiny. You should have nowhere to run. This is a strike of destiny. It will definitely hit. How can you dodge it? The one who couldn't accept this the most was the evil god of destiny. It claimed to be the evil god that controlled destiny. Everyone was under the destiny that it weaved. No one could escape. However, this kid in front of it easily escaped. Its spiderweb of destiny couldn't catch him at all. This made it completely crazy. It shook its beliefs. Strike of destiny? Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately laughed. You're too arrogant. You want to control destiny with just you? Do you know how powerful fate is? How could Hegemon possibly control it? The reason why everything goes smoothly for you is because you can see the veins of destiny. You can see the trajectory of destiny, but it doesn't mean that you can control destiny. You claim to be a god that controls fate, but in fact, you have already been controlled by fate. Impossible. You're bullsh asterisk ting. I'm the evil god of fate. The fates of all living beings are under my control. How dare you say that I'm controlled by fate? Are you F asterisk king kidding me? Evil god Fate cursed and didn't believe Xiaoping's words at all. Whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping's body flashed, and he appeared beside the evil god of fate. He reached out and grabbed the evil god of fate's shoulder. At this moment, his body had also transformed from an illusory state to a solid state. The transformation between the illusory state and the real state was completely dependent on his will. Damn ant, let go of your stinky hands. I am the evil god of fate, and I am not someone an ant like you can touch. The evil god of fate hollered in rage and felt endless panic. Because it couldn't sense the furnace lord's movements at all, it couldn't guess Xia Ping's every move. This was simply an existence that transcended fate, a variable within fate. You think of yourself as the evil god of fate that controls the fate of all living beings. But have you ever foreseen that you will die? Xia Ping looked at the evil god of fate calmly. What a joke. I am the supreme existence of fate, eternal and undying. How can I die? The evil god of fate wanted to say something, but Xia Ping didn't plan to let it continue. Sacrifice. Xia Ping looked at the evil god of fate and just said these two words. Instantly, the sovereign god power in his body exploded. This was the power of the golden crow of hell. Sacrifice. Once this ability was used, everything in the universe could be sacrificed, everything would be burned to ashes, and then the energy would be sacrificed to the origin of the universe. This power was extremely strong. It was equivalent to communicating with the origin of a universe and using the power of the origin of a universe. It was like controlling the power of the entire universe and sacrificing many gods. In the last era of hell, the reason why the Golden Crow of Hell was known as one of the strongest demon gods, and even the Lord of Hell respected it, was because of this power. If the Golden Crow of Hell wanted to kill a god, it could directly turn that god to ashes and return the origin of the god to the origin of the universe, burning them to death. Moreover, the Golden Crow of Hell would also be rewarded by the origin of the universe, increasing its power endlessly. It could be said that the Golden Crow of Hell was the illegitimate child of the universe, the child of the great Tao. At the same time, this method was also very beneficial to the universe. This was because the reason why these gods had evolved so quickly was because they had plundered the origin of the universe, damaging the benefits of the universe's origin. Once these gods were sacrificed, all the origin energy would return to the universe, which was equivalent to promoting the evolution of the universe. Therefore, the Golden Crow of Hell could practically roam the universe unhindered and kill deities with ease. Its sacrificial power was enough to make countless gods tremble in fear. Damn it, what did you do to me? What did you do? The evil god of fate couldn't help but scream in fear. It could feel the terrifying, dark, golden flame power surging out of Xia Ping's body. In just an instant, the dark, golden flame covered its entire body and started burning. At this moment, every drop of its blood, every inch of its flesh, and every wisp of its soul were burned to ashes. It seemed like it was being sacrificed to this universe. The origin of the evil god universe sensed this and seemed to be extremely excited. It immediately reduced the suppression on Xia Ping's power and increased the suppression on the evil god of fate. Stop, stop, stop! The evil god of fate screamed. It felt fatal danger, but it was too late for it to beg for mercy. Rumble, in an instant, the entire body of the evil god of fate was burning. Every cell was ignited. In just a few breaths, the evil god of fate was turned to ashes. Its origin energy also returned to this world and merged with the universe. The evil god universe, which was on the verge of death, now recovered a portion of its vitality and extended its lifespan. It was no longer in danger like before. Of course, Xia Ping also plundered a portion of the origin energy. The evil gods saw this scene and were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe it. One had to know that this was the evil god of fate, a dominator-level evil god that was said to control the fate of all beings. It was extremely powerful, but now it was burned alive by the Furnace Lord. If they hadn't seen this scene with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it.